Time now for the Erickson countdown to kickoff. It's the New Orleans Saints and the St. Louis Rams. Each of these teams have turned to a fiery coach from the past to try and bring out the best in these two franchises. Joe Buck and Bill Maas have the call.
You've seen this face before. No, not on another network, but on another sideline. Today, he leads the Saints into St. Louis to take on a face you haven't seen for a while, Dick Vermeil. First time on the sideline since 1982. It's an NFC Western Division matchup, the New Orleans Saints and the St. Louis Rams. Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, along with my partner Bill Maas, and welcome to opening day here in 1997 for this NFL season. Bill Maas, I guess as these 11 head coaches pop up, different head coaches pop up around the NFL, the big story here in St. Louis, two of them hooking up against each other, Dick Vermeil and Mike Ditka, two guys, it's good to see them back.
It really is. It's not only a good day for football, but it's a good day for sports. I think in a day and age when you open up the sports page and you're so disheartened by egos and money, Joe, that these guys are a breath of fresh air. They actually bring the sport back to sporting, and what they do is that they're teachers of life also, and I think these young kids need that.
Well, as these two teams match up, we need to talk specifically about game number 1 of this season. And for Mike Ditka, what's his major concern heading into this game?
Well, it's running the football. The Saints last year were 30th in rushing the football at the end of the season, and that's a big concern of his, and it's no surprise that Mike Ditka wants to run the football.
That has been his mantra for years. Run, stop the run. For Dick Vermeil, I guess, same song, 9th verse. Get that offensive line squared away and start being able to run the football as well.
Offensive line is a big concern of them. Now, I don't think it would have been if Orlando Pace got to camp early. They could have plugged him in at left tackle and moved Gandy over to right tackle, but they can't do that now, so they have 4 new starters on the offensive line.
It is the New Orleans Saints and the St. Louis Rams here, week 1 of the 1997 NFL season. The two coaches hug before the game, and now they'll start banging heads. Dick and Vermeil, Saints and Rams after this from your local Fox station.
And now the Erickson countdown continues.
Welcome back to St. Louis, the Trans World Dome in St. Louis, Missouri, for game number 1 of the 1997 regular season between the New Orleans Saints and the St. Louis Rams. These two teams from the NFC West, hooking up right at the start. Dick Vermeil, Mike Ditka. That's the story that's going on outside the white lines, but now all the focus turns to what will happen inside the white lines. Names like Schuler and Banks, Randall Hill, Roman Pfeiffer, Michael Jones, Mario Bates. What kind of a running attack will the New Orleans Saints have? All those two-a-days, all the sweat, all the efforts in training camp and the preseason, all that over with. And now, Bill Maas, we're ready to go to start this season. You ready?
We're ready to do it, Joe. And you see Dick Vermeil. Did you see him running out of the tunnel? Jumped into his player's arms. I think he's ready.
Well, he's had a while to wait since 1982. Mike Ditka hasn't been on the sideline since 1992. Saints won the toss. They receive, and Jeff Wilkins kicks it away. From the end zone, this is Gulliford. Met at the 20, dropped at the 23, and already on the first play of the afternoon, a penalty flag is thrown. Eric Gulliford, a return of 21 yards, but we have a flag on the opening kickoff. And a hold against New Orleans. This will bring the ball back inside the 20-yard line.
Holding number 86 on the offense on the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Not exactly how you want to get things started, but there's a lot of excitement and energy flowing down there. There's the hold. Wow, that's a tackle. That's a formed tackle. Shoes flying off. You don't think these guys are excited?
That was Tony Johnson, a second-year tight end, guilty. And the Saints will start at their own 8. A pass to start the afternoon and caught outside the 35, down at the 40. Ryan McNeil defending, and Randall Hill good for 31 yards. And you talk about coming out wanting to establish the run. Hello. Heath Schuler good on his first throw of 1997. It gets the Saints from near their own end zone out across the 40. You look at the offensive front for the New Orleans Saints, the backs and receivers. Mario Bates, he's the running back and the focus for the Saints here in game one. On first down, this is Mario Bates. Flea flicker. Wide open is the receiver Gulliford, and down to the 20. It's Hastings rather. And a flea flicker right from the beginning. Second play of the afternoon, 39-yard gain. And all of a sudden the Saints are down at the St. Louis 20.
Use a little bit of trickery right off the bat. Nothing like the surprise play to establish it. Watch the pitch back to Schuler and watch him get hit.
Todd Light was defending and got there late, and Schuler was the one who indeed took the hit.
And he was slow getting up too.
But not a slow start from the St. Louis 20, a first down for New Orleans. First run of the day is Bates trying to get around the corner, can't do it. Ryan McNeil with help forced him out of bounds. Robert Jones, the linebacker there for St. Louis. Give you a look at the St. Louis defense up front. A lot of question marks surrounding this group. The linebackers, they have added a good one in Michael Jones, Robert Jones in the middle, and Roman Pfeiffer outside. And then the secondary, they've added Ryan McNeil from a year ago, a free agent from Detroit. Loss of 1 on that play, second down and 11. Play action. And the quick throw is caught inside the 15, and that's the tight end Irv Smith. And right now, all they're doing is coming out throwing the football down the field.
Yeah, unbelievable. And you know, that's Ditka. He wants to find a way to set a tone. He established it in preseason. He wanted these guys to win and get confidence, and that's the guy he wanted to get confidence. Number 5, Heath Schuler. And you can see the confidence that this guy has. He's breathing new life down in New Orleans.
Gain of 8, third down and 3. Schuler starts the day 3 for 3 for just under 80 yards. Rams bring the blitz. Bates wrapped up and hit at the line of scrimmage and brought down short of a first down. DeMarco Farr there in the middle of it for St. Louis. And about a 31-yard try coming up here for Doug Bryant. So the Saints moved it right down the field, starting at their own 8. They end up at the St. Louis 14, and Doug Bryant, 21 of 25 a year ago, will try the 31-yarder. Good snap, good hold. The kick is good, and the New Orleans Saints score the first points of the afternoon here in St. Louis. A bit of a surprise. The Saints go right down the field. I thought he liked to run the ball. 3-0 New Orleans.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to fly. By the new 1997 Toyota Camry, now better than ever. By Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute and their search for a cure. And by 1-800-COLLECT. It's the way to call Collect.
It is a beautiful day in St. Louis for football, but we're in a dome, so it really doesn't matter. The New Orleans Saints go right down the field, starting from their own 8. 6-play drive covering 78 yards. Schuler 3 for 3 on that drive. And the Rams wondering what just hit him. This is Thomas from just outside the 5. Looking for room to run. He has it, and he crosses the 25, knocked down at the 29 after a 23-yard return. Tony Banks will lead the St. Louis offense onto the field, and Tony Banks, a world of talent. Last year had trouble hanging on to the football with 21 fumbles, but there is no doubt he has ability. This is the offensive line. You'll notice that number 1 pick Orlando Pace is not in there at the start. We will see him. Phillips and Hayward in the backfield. Kennison and Small, the receivers. Isaac Bruce out with a bad hamstring. From just inside their own 30, the Rams open up with a throw, and it's picked off by Eric Allen. It belongs to New Orleans at the St. Louis 49 on the first throw. Eric Allen, the interception right in front of Torrance Small.
Boy, this was a nice play by Eric Allen. Eric Allen's matched up. Now he knows he's in for a long day with Eddie Kennison. And the Rams actually, Joe, get forced to try to answer what just happened to him so quickly and throw the ball. Watch Eric Allen come off his man and get back into coverage with the safety Vashawn Adams. Nice play on the ball.
So a good start for Allen, a great start for the Saints. Not only the lead, but the ball inside St. Louis territory at the Ram 49. The Saints marched right through preseason with a record of 3-1. Dick Vermeil and the Rams 2-2. The Saints with all the confidence in the world here at the start. They used to run. They go right back to the flea flicker. Over the middle and picked off the other way. Todd Light. Back-to-back interceptions, and St. Louis regains control. It worked once. It didn't work twice.
And Todd Light was there. He didn't come out of coverage. It was the same exact play. If it worked once, then why not try it again? But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And you see Todd Light. He never comes up to the play fake. He doesn't support the run, and he stays in coverage and comes up with the interception.
I would say Bud Carson's defense adjusted pretty well. There were about 8 guys around the ball, it looked like. Nowhere to throw the ball. And the interception for Light, the Rams get it right back. They lost about 8 yards in the exchange. From their own 26, a handoff to Lawrence Phillips right up the middle, gets to the 30, and that's it.
You know, Joe, I think it's pretty funny. I mean, these guys come out, these two coaches come out, and Dick Vermeil, you know, you talk about offensive geniuses and X and O guys, and it's all about trying to beat the defense. And they come out the first play of the drive and trick them into things. And they move down the field and they score 3 points. And that makes the Rams come out and throw too. Now, the Rams want to get the ball going. They want to get Phillips going. They throw, they get an interception. Luckily, they got the ball back.
Phillips got 4, 2nd down and 6. They go right back to Lawrence Phillips, and he is met in the backfield and dropped for a loss of 2. Wayne Martin, who had 11 sacks a year ago, the 9-year pro out of Arkansas, was right there in the middle of it. And a look at the defensive front for New Orleans. Joe Johnson, a local product from St. Louis, the linebackers. Winfred Tubbs in the middle with Harvey and Fields flanking him. And in the secondary, Eric Allen, Alex Mould in the corners. Vashawn Adams and Anthony Newman, a former Ram, the safety. 3rd down and 8 after a loss of 2. 3 receivers set for St. Louis. And Banks to throw is under heavy pressure and sacked.
See, Joe, that's exactly the situation they didn't want to get in. They got in 3rd and long. They wanted to run the ball well enough so that they could take them out of the pass rush situation. Now, Fields was in on a blitz. Alex Molden was in on a blitz, and that's your result.
Alex Molden credited for the sack, so off the corner on the blitz. A loss of 4 and an early punt. As Will Bryce waits for the snap. Robinson with a perfect snap, and Bryce gets it away, the rookie. An ugly punt taken inside the 40 by Gulliford. Breaks a couple of tackles, looks for room to run, and it's Bryce, the punter, who wraps him up at the 47-yard line. Again, a return of 9 yards. A slow start for the Rams here early. The Saints come out of the gate, have the ball, lead by 3. Well, why is Jim Mora now a broadcaster and Mike Ditka's back on the sidelines? Look at the Saints a year ago. Their offensive rankings not good. Run game last in the NFL. Down at the bottom, down at the top, up at the top of 3 and outs, and pretty good start here, I guess, offensively for Mike Ditka's crew.
He's got to be happy with what he's seen so far.
And a 3-point lead after that first 78-yard drive from their own 48. This is the fullback. That's Sellers. He bangs it up down to the 45-yard line, a gain of 7. As now the Saints, I would imagine, will try to work on that running game and establish that.
Well, now that all the trickery is over with, now you're going to see a little bit of the Saints offense start to work. And what it is, it's the old trapping that they used to run in Pittsburgh. Remember Tom Moore up in Pittsburgh, and then went up to Detroit? That's Verstegen leading the block with fullback Zellers. And he's not the offensive coordinator. Danny Abramowitz is, but he's the voice of the offense.
Second down and 3. A penalty flag on the play as Mario Bates is collared and wrapped up as he crossed the Ram 35-yard line, but a flag on the play and a hold against New Orleans. And that 11-yard gain will be negated.
Holding, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty, remaining second down.
That's their tight end, Irv Smith. And that's one of the areas Ditka wanted to work with. It was the blocking of their tight ends. You know, Ditka being a former tight end and a hard-nosed guy, and you have to do everything in this system, and he wants his tight ends to block, but he doesn't want them to get a fistful of jersey. And so he patted him on the back. Now, that's a different Mike Ditka. And he's been saying that, and they've been stressing that down in New Orleans, too, that, hey, he's more relaxed. He's going about this in a different manner.
Jim Harbaugh saying that's a few years too late. Second down and 13 after that hold. And the Saints back in their own territory. Putting it up, setting up a screen for Zellers, the fullback. Pfeiffer, the linebacker, crosses the field and collars Zellers just after he got into St. Louis territory.
Joe, one of the toughest things in the first game of the season is getting used to seeing what you're going to see. Now, you'll watch the New Orleans Saints all through preseason, and they're very vanilla offense. They're trying to run the ball. They're in 2 wide receiver sets, a tight end, and 2 running backs, and they're doing things over and over and over again. And it's hard to prepare for a team offensively on what their tendencies are going to be, and you see what happens. They come out and change everything up.
That screen play picked up 6, now 3rd and 7. Back to the air for Schuler. Under pressure, he throws behind the receiver, caught. This is Troy Davis. He's down to the St. Louis 30 and a first down for New Orleans. Right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's go back to James Brown at the Fox Television Center.
Joe and Bill, take a look at number 37. Larry Centers, nice kick-out block right there. That frees Leland McElroy 17 yards to pay dirt. Cards trying to win for the first time ever in Cincy. Lead it by touch. Bill Maas, and welcome back, Joe Buck.
Thank you, James Brown. Good to hear that voice again. Troy Davis, his first play from scrimmage. Got 19 yards. A little dump-off pass from Schuler, and now a first down from the St. Louis 30. Davis again tiptoes his way inside the 30. Not much there.
And we're not seeing the run. We see it spread in there a little bit, but you see the Ditka. He's not afraid to get back there and pass the ball. Take away the trick plays and stuff. They're running the screens. He's letting Schuler take command of this offense. He's letting him check at the line of scrimmage to do other things. Run play, and then they check out to a pass, and he scrambles around and hits Davis, takes him downfield. He's giving this young kid life.
And you're talking about a guy who took 1 snap during the season last year while with the Washington Redskins. Traded to New Orleans, staring at a 2nd and 8. Play action. Another throw, 7th of the day, and caught by Hastings just inside the 15-yard line. And a first down for New Orleans. And what a start for Heath Schuler.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, they're letting this kid run this offense. Right there, he had pressure in his face. Robinson was pressuring him in his face, and he threw the ball. It was a little bit off, but his receiver came back to it, and he's taking control. I mean, you got a lot to learn. I don't think this kid, Heath Schuler, was coached very well in Washington, not to his capabilities. So they had to start all over and start him from ground 1 and bring him in the offseason, get him confidence, and you can see some of the confidence right now.
Has to be confident. 6 out of 7 here at the start. First down, New Orleans, and a toss to Troy Davis. Bouncing it outside, inside the 10, brought down near the 7. Good for 8, and Troy Davis getting a little more action early than we thought might happen.
St. Louis defense is on the toes. Now, the fullback 34 is right here in motion. Watch the block he gets. That's Ray Zellers. He's coming out, and he picks up Roman Pfeiffer, the outside linebacker, cuts him down, and that springs the whole thing open. But what the problem is for the Rams right now is they're back on their toes. They're getting hit with some screens. They've got some traps. They've had trick plays. They're passing the ball. They don't know what to expect.
7th play of the drive coming up, 2nd down and 2. And a handoff to the fullback Zellers. Lost the football. And no signal yet, but now recovered by St. Louis. 2nd turnover of the day, and it's Leslie O'Neal. Leslie O'Neal, the longtime veteran, covered it up, and the Rams avoid a score from New Orleans. Another turnover, 3rd of the day, 2nd for New Orleans. O'Neal and the Rams come away with it.
When you need your time for defense to come up with a big play, that's where you need it, down there at the goal line. There's the 2 safeties. That's McBarrows and Lyle. Watch McBarrows come in and stick his hand in there and strip the ball out. And that's going to give them a little charge now. They kept him out of the end zone. Now it's up to the offense to move down the field.
O'Neal comes away with it, the fumble recovery. And on the first play from scrimmage, just trying to get it away from the 1-yard line, Lawrence Phillips goes hurdling and is brought down near the 3. Swelling has been down for Lawrence Phillips with that sore left knee, but it's definitely a problem, Bill, something that he struggled with all last year as well.
Struggled with it last year through preseason, and Dick Vermeil was concerned too. So they've got a specialist from the Chicago Bulls to come in and look at it and tell him that there is no damage, to try to give this kid confidence.
2nd down and 8. And a delayed handoff to Lawrence Phillips, breaking tackles, crosses the 5, gets close to the 8, where he's met by the Saints and Darren Mickle.
Well, that's a pretty nice display of a little power running there by Phillips. You know, we know he has the speed. He's lost some weight, but watch the power he comes. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and when he finds his hole, see him lower his head there? That gets through Wayne Martin. And then he just keeps his feet turning and picks up a couple extra yards that really weren't there.
5-yard gain, now 3rd and 3. Behind Phillips, how in the world did he catch that football? And now the back judge will come in, rule it incomplete, and it's a good call.
It sure is a good call. Now, the line judge over here on the side, from where he was standing, he didn't see it. All he saw, the line judge is right here, and he's looking at him catch it right there behind his back. It looks caught, but it hits the ground right there, and then the back judge can see it from that angle.
Banks starts the afternoon 0 for 2 with 1 interception. He's been sacked once. And Will Bryce, his 2nd punt in the NFL, coming up with Gulliford waiting deep for New Orleans. Not much of a punt here either from Bryce, as Gulliford, plenty of room to get something started. He gets to the 35, and again, very good field position as Keith Crawford made the tackle for St. Louis. 10-yard return from Gulliford. Ditka the lead in good field position here.
And am I aggravated? Yes, I'm aggravated, because I don't remember feeling this bad in 1982 when I knew we couldn't play football.
Like that anymore. He says he's not that guy. He's like Prince. He's the coach formerly known as Mike Ditka.
You just compared Mike Ditka to Prince.
He's changed. He's saying he's changed.
That is maybe the greatest stretch outside of you trying to get into your Donna Karen suit this morning. From the 35 on 1st down, Leslie O'Neal had it in his big mitts and dropped it.
Leslie O'Neal needed to have a good camp. Dick Vermeil told him he was on the bubble. Here he is right here. Watch this inside move. Gets outside right around Rofe and gets his hands up. Now, he needed to have a good camp. You know, with the salary cap the way things are, Joe, you need to free up some money sometimes. And if he didn't rush the passer well all the way down to the 4th preseason game, he was going to be released. But he had a good game against Kansas City's tackle.
Not too much unlike Ronaldo Turnbull for New Orleans.
Exactly.
He is gone, and with Carolina on 2nd down, Schuler to throw. Over the middle, incomplete, right through the hands of Randall Hill. Todd Light defending for St. Louis, and that'll bring up 3rd and 10.
You know, Hill's down there, and then they got Hobbs from Oakland, and they got Andre Hastings from the Steelers, and they got all kinds of new guys. And I asked their offensive coordinator, Danny Abramowitz, I said, Danny, you know, how do you get this group to gel so quick? How do you get them to gel? He said, Bill, he says, what we do is we spread the ball around. Everybody's involved on every play, and we've seen it. We've seen the running plays, we've seen the traps, we've seen the fake plays, the screen passes. I mean, everybody is involved.
3rd down and 10. Extra defensive backs in the game for St. Louis. Blitz is coming. Schuler gets rid of it and dropped by Randall Hill. Tried for the one-handed grab, well covered. And that'll bring up a 4th down and about a 52-yard try if they're willing. For their place kicker, Doug Bryant.
Joe, that was Heath Schuler in the face of a blitz, and boy, he put this ball on the money. Just quite couldn't come up with it. Watch Hill on the post move, and the safety help right there with Gerald McBarrows just off his fingertips. But there was 2 players there, defenders, and in the face of pressure on their blitz, Heath Schuler threw a nice ball.
You could see his frustration. He put it right where he wanted, and Hill couldn't come up with it. Now a 53-yard try for Bryant. 1 for 1. Good snap, good hold. The kick is good. And it's a 6-0 New Orleans lead. Mike Ditka applauding the effort of his kicker, Doug Bryant. And Ditka has to be very pleased. Meanwhile, Dick Vermeil, Bill Maas,
he's got to find something to get his offense generated.
But the good news for St. Louis, they're down by only 6 points. Next week, we're talking baseball. And the Fox Saturday baseball game of the week, the White Sox at Indians, a good matchup in the AL East with the Orioles and Yankees. Late game, Astros and Giants, Marlins and Dodgers. It all begins 1/2 hour before game time with Fox in the Zone. That is a week ago yesterday.
Well, that's you. That's you. That's your game.
Do you like the way I?
Yeah, I mean, you went long enough about it. Why don't you just say, I'm doing the game, please watch?
I'm doing the game in LA, please watch.
There you have it.
Check your local listings. Heath Schuler, what a start. I mean, I know we keep saying that, but you're talking about a guy who was a former 1st-round pick, was beaten out of a job by Gus Frerotte in Washington, and a great start with his New Orleans Saints teammates.
Yeah, you know what? He was like a car that like a DeLorean. When they first come out, everybody wants you, you know? And then they put him in the garage for 4 years, and Ditka says, hey, I'll take the kid.
Then you end up in prison. Bryant kicks it away from his own 30. And this will be J.T. Thomas from just inside the 10. Trying to bounce it outside. A penalty flag on the play. A couple now fly, and Thomas crosses the 25 after an 18-yard return, but markers down on that play.
And that's going against the Rams. That's illegal use of the hands. I think it's on 96 Jay Williams.
Bill Corallo will give us the number momentarily.
There's a hold.
Holding number 96 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
You're 1 for 1 at 97.
Well, it's easy to see. You know, he's a big guy out there. When you're on special teams and you're 300 and some pounds, he kind of sticks out. And then you're trying to block little guys, about 180 pounds. He used his hands.
First Ram penalty belongs to big number 96, Jay Williams, and St. Louis will start with it at their own 18. It has been a sluggish start, to be kind, for the Rams, but they find themselves down 6. They have not been able to get anything going offensively. Play action, heavy rush, setting up the screen. Lawrence Phillips to the 25, that's it. And it was big number 99, Sagapulatelli, who lost his helmet, and then he was in on the tackle.
Hey, you got to like a guy like that. And that's why they brought him down from New England. He was a free agent. He was on the Super Bowl team last year, and he had a hurt knee most of the year. But he's a guy that'll give you it all. Watch him right here. He gets in here on the rush, and then he turns upfield and chases the screen. And his head pops off there, and he doesn't stop.
His head popped off.
It popped off. Well, a helmet. You know, your hat popped off there.
So the helmet gone. He gets in on the tackle, and now 2nd down and 3 after the screen play. Got 7. Lawrence Phillips slanting off the right corner, and
another helmet off.
Another helmet off.
They need to go see the equipment manager, make sure them snaps are okay.
Close to 1st down yardage. Might have looked a little short. We'll wait and see where the placement is. They give Phillips and the Rams enough for a first down. Needed 3, got 3. There's Orlando Pace on the St. Louis sideline.
And they really think highly of the kid. Remember a couple weeks ago, you know, Hannafin and Dick Vermeil really getting frustrated with him and all that stuff. He'll be on scout team for 6 weeks. Well, he's going to play today because he's that good. They're going to get him in the second quarter and a little bit of the third quarter. Dick Vermeil said, I have to get this kid in. I got to take the gamble. He's too good.
A throw on first down. Wide open is Eddie Kennison. Has a bad hamstring and has a first down. Looking for a face mask, won't get it. Eric Allen defending, and that was good for 12. In case you're just joining us at the top, we told you that Isaac Bruce is not in the lineup today for St. Louis, out with a bad hamstring. Under a minute to play in this opening quarter, and the Rams finally getting something working. You look at the wide receivers for St. Louis. Bruce and Kennison, a very good 1-2 punch. That's the tight end Conwell. He crosses the 45, wrapped up at the 46.
And that's number 3. You know, you had the 1-2 punch, and this guy's working into the 3 punch, the 1-2-3, because they need him to be a receiver. They need a tight end in this offense to come alive. Now, he was a rookie last year, and he was forced into play. You know, the Rams played all the rookies at running back, wide receiver, at center, and they also played Conwell. And the coaches are really pleased with him. He's lost a little bit of weight, and he can get downfield. He's got speed and hands.
His first reception of the year was a gain of 6, a 2nd and 4 when we come back. That's the end of the first quarter with a score: New Orleans 6, St. Louis nothing. Back to St. Louis right after these messages.
To be able to call you guys a champion, that's the greatest thrill I've ever had in coaching. And thank you for what you've done for me.
In a league that can will their team to win, it's these two guys. Their personalities, to me, are so dynamic, it affects their whole team.
2nd down and 4 as we open up the second quarter here in St. Louis. The Saints lead by 6. Penalty flag on the play as Phillips is met at the line by Anthony Newman. The strong safety up to make the hit. We'll check the flag. And it's against New Orleans. And we'll give St. Louis a first down.
Offside. Defense, number 92. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Aaron Mickle.
A little anxious to get after Tony Banks.
No, he should be anxious. He needs to have a big year for him. You know, he was a free agent 2 years ago, paid a ton of money to come down here and got in trouble with the NFL drug program and missed some time, and he's never really played to his potential. And they're waiting to see him. He's got a heck of a lot of ability, but it hasn't really put it all together.
And a great opportunity this year with the Saints. First down and 10 for the Rams inside New Orleans territory, and a fake end around to Kennison. This is Lawrence Phillips. He's running hard, Bill Maas. He might have that big left knee and the puffy left knee, but he's lowering his head, lowering his shoulder, and that was good for 5.
Well, no, everybody bit on the fake reverse except for Fields, number 55. Now, Fields in the Saints defense is a guy they're going to use a lot of. Now, he's lined up over here as outside linebacker. He's over here. Now, watch him stay. See the block he has right here? He comes off his block. Everybody's faked. Even the cameraman's faked. But he comes out right through it and through his block and stays with it.
Now the toss to Lawrence Phillips. Phillips inside the 40, near another first down. He has it for St. Louis around the New Orleans 38. And right now, it's the Rams establishing the run more so than the Saints.
Well, I think what Dick Vermeil wants to do is get the team some confidence. Start getting these guys confidence. And the way he had to do it isn't how he initially wanted to do it. He wanted to come out and do these things. But he had to open up the passing game a little bit, as we saw just a short while ago, to help this offensive line now start running the football.
It's already the 4th first down on this drive for the Rams. Play action pass. Phillips out of the backfield. Hello, my name's Eric Allen.
Boy, did he play that nice.
21 on 21 and a gain of 1.
This is a heck of a hit, and he's covering Eddie Kennison first. He goes with Eddie Kennison, sees the play and comes off and meets the ball as it gets there. Now remember, he was downfield. He was this far back as he was covering Eddie Kennison. Now you have to respect Eddie Kennison's speed. You get back there with him, then sees the quarterback, sees the play, and breaks on the ball. That's a heck of a play by Eric Allen.
Jermaine Ross, an extra wide receiver in the lineup on second down to the sideline. Kennison, a first down and out of bounds just inside the 20, working on Vashon Adams. Right now for a McDonald's game break, back to JB at the Fox Television Center.
JB, Todd Collins trying to allay fears of what life without Jim Kelly will be like. A couple of big plays in this drive culminates in that 19-yard strike to Jay Remersma, and Buffalo's on top by 4, second quarter. Back to Joe Buck and Bill Maas.
All right, James Brown. Now the Rams are establishing something offensively here in St. Louis, down by 6, and they are at the New Orleans 19. Handoff is to Ron Moore. And Craig Hayward, I think, just celebrated after one of those Hayward blocks.
It was a Hayward block, yeah. I mean, this guy, he is something special. Now, he's an H-back. He lines up here. He's 260 pounds. He comes in motion and whams the defensive lineman. Boom. I mean, just knocks the dog out of somebody. I mean, it's only a pickup of 3 yards, but he's celebrating. Look how happy he is. When you hit somebody that hard in the NFL and knock them back, you get excited.
First round pick of the Saints in 1988. I think that felt good. If that can feel good. Second down. Banks to the tight end Conwell. Inside the 10, knocked down at the New Orleans 6 by Anthony Newman. And the Saints haven't been able to stop anything on this drive.
Well, because the play calling for the Saints for the Rams is getting better. They're mixing it up. They had that big power running game before, and then they get the ball down the sideline, down the hash marks to Conwell, the tight end.
Everybody talks about that red zone offense, and the Rams an early test with a first down. They hand to Hayward down to the goal line. Ironhead inches away from his first Ram touchdown.
You know, I talked to Craig before the game, and he says, you know, they keep on telling me they're going to give me the ball, but they never really do. And look what he does when he does get the ball. First of all, look at the line up front. Look at the push they get on the defensive tackles. When you get that kind of push on the defensive tackles and you got Craig Hayward running the ball at you, that's a load.
A look at Zaven Uralian, the defensive coordinator for New Orleans. First chance in that capacity, and now from just inside the 1, we'll call it just outside the goal line. Second down. Lawrence Phillips. Not much. Second effort.
Wow.
Touchdown.
That's big. That's big. That's big for Lawrence Phillips. That's big for the Rams. That's big for the offensive line and everybody in this stadium.
For the first time, this dome lights up. The crowd appreciating, and Dick Vermeil appreciating the effort of Lawrence Phillips. He has been a project for Dick Vermeil. In fact, at one point during the offseason, lived with Dick Vermeil and his wife Carol. A big hug after his first 1997 touchdown. Point after touchdown, perfect from Wilkins. And just like that, a 7-6 Ram lead. It's the Rams that have established the run, and it's Lawrence Phillips into the end zone.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Texaco, a world of energy. By Nike. By Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. www.visa.com. And by Snickers. Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers. Hungry? Why wait?
Thing up in the backfield. Now they do blow it up in the backfield, except it's all Lawrence Phillips' effort after that. That thing is stopped right there, and watch the effort.
Brady Smith, the missed tackle and the touchdown for Phillips. The kick taken in the end zone by Gulliford. And that's one of the reasons why the Rams went hard after Jeff Wilkins. The Saints and Mike Ditka will start from their own 20, trailing by 1. Well, a slow start for St. Louis out of the gate, but Dick Vermeil barking into that headset. Oh, there you go. Ditka Vermeil, football like it ought to be. Down the street, the slogan for the baseball Cardinals, baseball like it ought to be. But right now, this city focused on football and what these two teams do on opening day.
Oh, it is football like it ought to be. That's exactly right. It's the old stuff. It's the hard work, the discipline, the sportsmanship, the teamwork, all that stuff that somehow got lost along the way.
Starting from their own 20, Heath Schuler and company back to work. And a toss to Mario Bates. Great blocking out in front of Bates, and he's knocked out of bounds by McNeil at the 35. 16-yard gain for Mario Bates and a first down.
Watch this little toss outside here. It's going to come to the left of the screen. And watch the blocking up front by everybody. The guard pulls out. That's McCollum. And there's a hat on everybody. And then even downfield, the wide receivers are involved. That's Hastings. So, I mean, Ditka, we talked to Jerry Fontenot last night a little bit, the center, and he said, one thing about Ditka, he says, he just tells us, block the guy. Get a hat on him and block him. A lot of coaches get into technique. You need the right hand here and the left hand here and your foot here. They said, get a hat on him and block him. And that's what they did.
Bates averaging 5 yards a carry, a first down for the Saints, and a handoff to the fullback Zellers. He got a couple. Met at the line of scrimmage by Kevin Carter. Gain of 3. You can call a couple of missed opportunities for New Orleans. Started 3 possessions at their own 45 or better and came away with only 3 points. That all happened in the first quarter.
And a lot of that stuff was, you know, the turnover and then the trickery and all that. But now they've got to play football. Now you're going to see what kind of team they have early on.
Second down and 7. Schuler changing it up at the line. And the handoff to Zellers again. And right up the gut, a first down near midfield.
See, Heath Schuler has a lot of responsibility in this offense. He didn't have this kind of responsibility in Washington. And he never felt comfortable. He says, this is my kind of offense. They have run plays that have checked to other run plays. They have pass plays that check the run plays. He has the ability to come to the line of scrimmage and change a play. And his main objective is keeping everybody on his offense on the same page. And Ditka's given them the reins to do that.
Telling us last night his playbook here with the Saints half the size what it was in Washington. Play action now, and Schuler avoids trouble, fires downfield and incomplete. Looking for the tight end. That was Smith, and Schuler 0 for his last 4.
Now Schuler, the only person he can be mad at there is himself. He had an opportunity here. Here's the tight end. Watch him come up and then cut across the field as he sees his quarterback scramble. Now the blitz comes, Schuler sees it. The back misses the pickup and he rolls out. That's where he's most dangerous. He sees an open receiver and he gets a little too anxious there and overthrows him.
Second down and 10 now from midfield. Darryl Hobbs, an extra receiver in the lineup for New Orleans. Blitz. Offensive line picks it up enough, but Pfeiffer trips up Schuler.
What a play by Roman Pfeiffer. And I'm not talking about him running down and catching him. I'm talking about what he did to get there. Watch Roman Pfeiffer come through here and spin at the line of scrimmage. See him spin off the block of the fullback? I mean, that's great athleticism right there. You're flying in there full speed. You got offensive linemen in there twice your size. The fullback's coming up to pick you up. And without breaking stride, he spins right off that block and stays in pursuit of Schuler.
Dick Vermeil coming into this first game thinking the defense was ahead of the offense at this point. And the play clock now expires. And a timeout called for by New Orleans just before the play clock hit 00. That sack by Pfeiffer, a 9-yard loss. 3rd and 19 for the Saints when we come back. Well, the New Orleans Saints again starting with good field position, but a sack by Roman Pfeiffer. After having a 1st and 10 at midfield, they're faced with 3rd and 19. Saints in the first quarter through the air 117 yards. the second quarter, -9. Ditka working over that gum. Stomping along the sidelines, waiting for a 3rd and 19. Schuler trying to set something up, and it's Pfeiffer right in the middle for St. Louis, meeting Ray Zellers. And a loss of 5.
Roman Pfeiffer is fast. He's a great asset to this defense. Here he is, number 58, left outside linebacker right now. And he's great in these nickel situations because of his speed and because of the way he can cover. Now watch, did you see how he rooted his way right through those defensive linemen? They was trying to set up a screen over there. He slid through 2 of them to make that stick.
On 4th and 24, the first punt of the day for Mark Royals, and it is a good one. Kennison on the run can just hang on to it as he heads out of bounds at the Ram 21. 43-yard punt, and the key when you have a guy like Kennison waiting, no return. So Kennison does not get a chance to shine on his first opportunity of the afternoon, and we'll tell you about next week. Week 2, a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. It all starts with America's most watched pregame show. Then catch the Vikings taking on the Bears, the Super Bowl champion Packers against the Eagles, or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. Check local listings. That's week 2 in the NFL. Week 1, the Rams have a 1-point lead over the Saints. Orlando Pace is in the lineup for St. Louis. He takes over at left tackle. And this is Amp Lee feeling his way for maybe a yard. Good push up front by the New Orleans Saints defensive front led by Darren Mickle.
Well, they're going to ease him into this thing, obviously. Watch him. He really doesn't have anybody to block on this play. They run the ball away from him, and he's blocking space. He's out there, and he's looking for a defensive back downfield, but they're going to bring him along slowly.
He can handle pace and space. I mean, this is a guy that's 6'7", 334. The #1 overall draft pick belonging to St. Louis. Now blocking is Lawrence Phillips. Doesn't get much, and again, with Richard Harvey making the stop for New Orleans. A gain of 1, bringing up 3rd and 8. Orlando Pace, the first offensive lineman in 30 years to be drafted #1 overall.
Ron Yary of Minnesota. Chuck Bednarik, Philadelphia, 2-way player. Last 2-way player.
And now Orlando Pace puts his name on that list. Amp Lee, the only one standing behind Tony Banks on 3rd and 8. Big pressure up the middle. Banks rolling, and his arm is hit as he gets rid of it. An incomplete pass. Pressure by Alex Molden again.
Well, that's what you want to do. You know, if you're going to bring some heat, you want to bring it to that side because then your protection has to think quickly. And Orlando Pace hasn't been there long enough to think quickly. But that's the lineup, Joe, that they want to get to. That's it right there. Maybe strengthen up the guard position. Someone can emerge there, but they want pace and they want Gandy.
3rd punt for Will Bryce. Gulliford waiting deep for New Orleans. The Saints ought to get good field position. Best punt of the day for Bryce as Gulliford takes it in at the New Orleans 35. 42-yard punt, no return. Saints have it back. We're in the second quarter, just over 5 left. Rams by 1. Well, late last night, if you happen to be watching television or listening to the radio, you learned of the passing of Princess Diana, the car accident in France. And tonight, Fox will have a special Diana, the People's Princess, at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. The tragedy unfolding last night, and her life will be celebrated. Talked about tonight on Fox. From their own 35, a first down and a handoff. Kevin Carter meet Ray Zellers. And a loss of 4.
One thing about this defense is Bud Carson's is in charge of it. And you see Carter step inside there and the line swooping around. I mean, they do a lot of things. Now, this package is just getting installed. He has a huge package and a huge repertoire of defenses. And he's turned teams around every place he's been. And I think in time, this is going to be a pretty darn good defense.
Had a great run in Philadelphia, 23rd NFL season for Carson. 1 second left on the play clock as Schuler fires incomplete. Andre Hastings, the intended receiver, and the rookie Dexter McCleon was there in coverage along with Roman Pfeiffer. You talk about a resume and a career in the NFL. Bud Carson, what he's done when he's taken over a program.
This is the ranking of the defense the year before he got there, and this is after he's been there. Look at the progress. Every place he's been, he's improved their defense.
Except Kansas City in '82. Where'd you play?
Well, I got there in '83, so I'm clear. I'm clear on that one.
3rd down and 14. Under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Passing situation, big rush. Schuler, plenty of room to run. Penalty flag on the play, and Schuler brought down across the 40, short of a first down.
Well, that's going to be holding on Willie Rofe, number 77. He and Leslie O'Neal have been in a battle tonight all game. Now, actually, Willie Rofe has been winning the battle early on, but then Leslie O'Neal has really picked it up now.
Number 77 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
You're 2 for 2.
We're going to keep that streak going, too. Now, watch. Rofe has his hands full. Leslie O'Neal is going to come to his inside shoulder, take him upfield, and there's the rip inside. Now, see how he has that arm wrapped around him? That's going to draw that flag.
Would it be fair to say, Bill, that when Leslie O'Neal wants to play, he's still a handful?
Yeah, I think there's times when Leslie, just has to get motivated to play. Now, I'm not saying that he comes to this game, it's opening day. Of course he's motivated. But you start getting a feel in a game. And you think you're good enough at a certain time, and then you find out all of a sudden you get blocked. Well, that wasn't good enough, so you have to take it up another notch, and that's what he's doing now.
Even though Schuler was brought down short of the first down, the Rams take the penalty. 3rd and 24. And the blitz coming. The handoff to Bates, nothing. Far in the backfield, Michael Jones was there for St. Louis in time for the Saints to punt.
Well, that whole series, their defense was flying around. They stunted in every single snap of that series. There was defensive linemen stunting all over the place. And DeMarco Farr blew that thing up in the backfield on the blitz.
Second punt for Mark Royals.
That's Carson's style. That's what he's going to do. He's going to give you a handful.
First 3 and out for New Orleans this afternoon. And now the Rams ought to end up with good field position. Eddie Kennison waiting for St. Louis. A high hanging punt will head out of bounds, and the Rams will start near midfield. The Rams will start from their own 45. As you look at Orlando Pace, who evidently will not take part in this offensive series. Only the 4th offensive lineman taken as the first player in the draft. Dominating lineman, 2-time All-American, 2-time Lombardi Award winner, Outland Trophy Award winner, and Mr. Pancake Block.
Well, it makes a statement when you move up in the draft to get the guy.
That was the biggest weakness on this Rams team, and they went after the best in the country as Banks looks to throw, hops around, throws on the run, and hits Torrance Small, the former Saint, inside the New Orleans 35. Banks is very good throwing on the run.
It's pretty funny. Xavier Aurelian said, if we want to make this kid scramble, we want to make him scramble to our left, not our right, because when he scrambles to the right, he throws real good. But here he is. He gets caught up with all the pressure inside. He scrambles out to the left, and he still makes a play. This kid's a heck of an athlete.
Torrance Small, a career-high 50 catches last year in New Orleans, cut for salary cap reasons. That was good for 22 and a first down inside the New Orleans 35. And the handoff to Lawrence Phillips, picking his way up the middle and met in the middle by Sagapulatelli. Gain of 4. Well, as you look at the Rams on offense here in the second quarter. A very slow start as we approach the 2-minute warning, but they have really picked it up.
They have picked it up. And they got, I think it was a slow start because they were surprised. They got behind offensively, down by 3 points by the trick play. But since then, they've picked up their game.
Rams on the march again. 2-minute warning first half. They lead by 1. Well, not only did the Rams take an offensive lineman with their first pick, but 10th overall, the Saints took Chris Naoli. He tore his MCL in his knee early on during the offseason, and they have really struggled, Bill, trying to find someone to fill in for him.
4 different guys they've had in there since camp opened.
And he may be back as early as next week when the Saints open up their home schedule with San Diego. On second down, Banks to throw, wide open. Touchdown, Torrance Small. Thirty-yard completion to Small, capping a Small 3-play drive. And now Wilkins. It's a 14-6 St. Louis lead.
Watch, they bring the blitz here. They blitz linebackers. And what that does is now you have man-to-man coverage on the outside. And Eric Allen got tangled up. See the blitz? Now you have man coverage, and Eric Allen loses Torrance Small on a little stutter move. It was like an out and up, and he just got lost. Never gets over there, bites on it, and he sees the blitz coming, and then he's up the field. And that's where they're explosive. That's where the Rams are explosive. Outside. Tony Banks in the face of pressure. Like I said, here comes the blitz. And Allen doesn't get out there in time on the out and up. And he stands in there. And they're very good at the specialty positions. The wide receivers are good. Banks is good. A lot of talent. Phillips. A lot of young, explosive guys there.
And again, Torrance Small in that lineup because of the injury to the hamstring of Isaac Bruce. A big part of the drive. A 3-play drive covering 55 yards, and Small had just about all of it. And Tony Banks started the day 0 for 2 with an interception. Since then, 8 of 9 for over 100 yards and a touchdown. And it's a 14-6 St. Louis lead. Wilkins to kick. Gulliford from the end zone. Fake reverse. Gulliford. Only the kicker in his way. Eric Gulliford in the open field, and Gulliford will travel into the end zone. 101 yards and a score in a blink for the Saints.
You know, Joe, I was just getting ready to tell you that this kid is going to be the kicker. I was saying he's going to, if he can kick like this in the end zone all the time and in this dome, he'll end up in the Pro Bowl. And I'm thinking they're going to down the ball back there in the end zone. But they carry out the fake reverse, and the whole thing opens up for him.
And now the Saints will go for 2, down by 2, and look for the tie. Talk about this thing turning around in a hurry.
Mike Ditka, I mean, he's pulling out all stops. I mean, this game is obviously very important for him to win. He wants this one bad to get his group confidence. He's trying everything.
An early 2-point try for New Orleans. Split backfield, and Schuler to throw into the end zone, and they got it. A 2-point conversion, and it's a tie game with 1:41 left in the first half.
Boy, I got to tell you, Joe, I'm real impressed on the things they've done here. The New Orleans Saints, what they've done offensively, what they've done on special teams.
That's the 2-point conversion, but here's that run back.
I mean, they come out of 2-point conversion. They give Schuler the ball down there. They throw the out. Perfect throw, inbounds. And then here's the fake reverse right there. That sucks everybody over here, and then it opens up for Gulliford. The kicker misses a tackle, and it's off to the races.
It's now been officially changed to 102 yards on the touchdown return for Gulliford. And we take a look at a couple of key blocks.
Well, they're going to come right here, and in here. These guys are going to get blocked. And there. They're going to block this whole thing open, and this is what opens it up. They're blocked, and there's the alley right there. I mean, it's little things like that you're unexpected. You see them kick the ball in the end zone, and on kickoff teams, when you're covering kicks, you're thinking, it's in the end zone 90% of the time they're going to down it. Well, not only did they bring it out, then they get you with a fake reverse, and everybody's just off just a little bit.
And you have to give the Saints a lot of credit. They came out with 2 flea flickers in the first quarter. They set up kind of a trickery type day, and they show the fake reverse, and it worked.
I thought I said that, but yeah, I agree with you.
From the 30. From the 1, J.T. Thomas trying to answer and will struggle to get to the 20. Thomas on the return, and Bobby April flying down the sideline to reward the tackler on that play. That was Gerard Cherry. Coming up on the Dockers halftime, JB and Terry will have scores and highlights from week 1, plus an update on the Princess Diana tragedy. That's coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime as the Rams start from their own 20. Eric Gulliford, 102 yards, the touchdown, the 2-point conversion, and a 14-14 tie. Setting up the screen, incomplete to Amp Lee. And this dome got awful quiet, awful quick.
Well, Amp Lee's a guy they added to the roster, you know, but another one of those salary things. He was up in Minnesota, and they cut him. And here he was out on the street, and they pick him up. And this guy had an impressive camp. They really like it. And he's another dimension to him. He's a fast guy, and he's powerful when he has to.
2nd down and 10. Saints looking for a big stop. Banks got the snap before he was ready in the sack. Back around the 11. Mark Fields, the quick linebacker, back to get him.
See, Banks should have got rid of that ball as soon as he saw it was number 55, because they should have remembered last year you can't outrun 55. He ran down Isaac Bruce.
And now time will be called, I believe, by New Orleans to try to get the ball back. Just a blur coming into the backfield for the sack, and it is a timeout, New Orleans. They are left with 1, but they hope to get the ball back.
Well, Fields, you know, we talked about earlier, his speed and his quickness, and that's what he brings to this team. And they use him defensively now more so than they had last year. So you're going to see him line up all over the place. I said in the middle, the left, to the right. But when they're going to blitz, they want to bring this guy and use his speed. He runs like a 4.3 40, Joe. He's 250 pounds, and that's unique. I mean, he's such a fast guy that last year they had him out as a flyer on punt coverage. He was the outside guy, usually reserved for DBs or running backs. They had him out there covering punts.
After that second New Orleans sack, a loss of 8, 3rd and 18 from their own 12. The extra wide receiver in the lineup, Amp Lee, gets very little over the left side, brought down at the 15, a gain of 3, and time for St. Louis to punt, and Fields right in the middle of it again. And another timeout called for by the Saints. You can start to see, Bill, certain aspects of this New Orleans team taking shape like the old Chicago teams of Mike Ditka. And Fields has been compared to a young, quick Otis Wilson.
Yeah, and you know, and then they go out and they draft Rob Kelly out of Ohio State. You can say that's Doug Plank or Dewerson back there, or Fensick. And then they get Keith Poole, the wide receiver, in their draft from Arizona State. You could say he's a Tom Waddle. You know, that's a Ditka draft. And it's a Ditka defense, and it's going to be a Ditka team.
Eric Gulliford, who is the star of the first half, will wait for this punt from the rookie Will Bryce. The Saints will get it back, ought to have great field position, are left with no timeouts.
How about Gulliford? I mean, last year he was up there playing in the Canadian Football League for the Winnipeg team.
And a big part of this first half for the 102-yard kick return for a touchdown to tie this game in essence. Under pressure, Bryce gets it away, and Gulliford from around his own 43. Trying to get to the sideline, will, and he bounces out of bounds inside the St. Louis 35.
And they got great field position again, you know, and they got that great field position because of Fields. That's him right there. And you know everything he did. You know, he told you get away from his speed. You get rid of the ball because you can't outrun this guy, not defensively. This is last year. Isaac Bruce beats Allen and he's down the sidelines. And he thinks he's going to the end zone. Look, he looks up because he wants to watch himself on the big screen and watch him get run down. That's Fields. That's a 250-pound linebacker running down Isaac Bruce.
Now the Saints from the 35. Going to throw. Schuler gets it to Sellers, the fullback, and he was not able to get out of bounds. And a minimal gain of only 4.
Joe, yesterday I talked to Heath. I said, you know, he said he was really excited about this game. He can't wait. I said, what do you want to come out of the game with? And he said, poise and confidence.
Trying to gain a lot of that here, and he misses a wide open receiver. It'll bring up a 3rd and 6. Hobbs, the intended receiver.
I think, you know, a couple times he's had some open receivers. He's overthrown. He gets a little excited. Heck, we saw Brett Favre overthrow people for 2 or 3 years because he got so excited. But what he is getting out of it, I think he is getting a little poise and confidence. He's moved this team well. He's made nice checks at the line of scrimmage.
Right now, the Saints are already within field goal range for Doug Bryant. No timeouts left. 40 seconds left in the half. 3rd down. And Mario Bates trying to get to the sideline, trying to get a first down, will not. And now the Saints have to hurry their field goal unit onto the field. Why would they try that play?
Well, I don't know. I think they tried to catch him off guard because they had the kickoff, they had the field goal unit huddled there together on the sidelines. They wanted to get the ball in the center of the field, I believe, but failed to do it.
And now Bryan will try about a 46-yard field goal attempt, and the Rams will call timeout. 13 seconds left in the first half. And special teams playing a part in this first half.
Well, you know, I'm not sure what they did, but I don't think they missed the timeout, and I don't think they knew they didn't have an extra one because they had that field goal unit huddled up there on the sidelines. But I don't know why they would not throw a pass play thinking, well, if it's complete, it's a first down. If it's incomplete, it stops the clock. It gives them time. They ran a draw play there, and I really don't understand it. Maybe that's what being away from the game can do to you.
Frank Gans, the special teams guru, now here in St. Louis. He's bounced all over the place. Cannot be happy with his kickoff coverage team on that 102-yard return by Gulliford, which led to the 2-point conversion and this tie. Meanwhile, Bobby April, the special teams coach,
pretty darn good in his own
right, the 3rd field goal of the afternoon for Doug Bryant, which would put New Orleans out in front. Good snap, good hold, the kick, perfect. And the New Orleans Saints take a lead with just 8 seconds remaining in this first half, and you have to give those Saints, led by Mike Ditka, a lot of credit. They fell behind and came right back with a touchdown, the conversion, get the ball back, get the field goal.
Anything it takes.
Well, what do you think? Not too bad on opening day here in 1997.
Well, just everything, the atmosphere, the people, the NFL starts, and then there's Ditka and Vermeil. I mean, if that doesn't get you excited about football, I don't know what else does. And plus, it's a great game.
Not only that, yeah, you've got these two teams banging heads, and I guess the focus now is off the two coaches. It's time to start playing football, and all the hype you can just throw right out the window.
Well, they're playing football, and you're watching the teams come together in different ways. Now, for Ditka, you know, he's got his team out there. He did a couple trick things to get them excited, to get this team confidence, and that's what they need. Because personnel-wise, they're not that great, but he's going to make themselves believe that they are good. Now, Vermeil, he's feeling his way through this whole thing. He's seen the things he has to do, and he's also seen the things he needs to get better at.
Bryan will squib it. Taken at the 30 by Scanina. Out to the 35, and that was a thing of beauty where the Rams will take over with 5 seconds left in the half.
He was told not to run. You don't run with that ball. The big guys, when they kick it to the up guy, you know, he was told you better not run with that thing. He just went down. Look at the size of his legs. Oh, this looks like a leg right there. Look at his arm. That's a leg. That's most people's thighs. Joe, that's your thigh.
Hey, thanks. 5 seconds left here in this first half with the Saints out in front by 3. It's been a great first half. We can only hope for more of the same in the second half. After that 4-play drive, Ryan the 46-yard field goal, and again set up by a 23-yard punt return from Gulliford. The old Boo Birds rain down on the Rams as they kneel down here in the first half. It's a 3-point lead for the Saints. JB, Terry, Howie, and Ronnie will be along with the Dockers Khakis halftime following this.
Dockers Halftime, brought to you by Dockers Khakis. Standard equipment at tailgate parties everywhere. Hey, nice pants.
Back here in Hollywood, along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm James Brown. Let's get you caught up. Anthony Miller making some noise in Pittsburgh. Cordell's the guy.
Third year, first start at quarterback. Deion Sanders back, looking to the heavens, needed help here. Great job by Deion reading the quarterback, played the zone perfectly, lands on his neck, has to leave the game, but does return. But back comes Aikman down over the middle. Miller brought in from Denver. That's why right there, 12-yard touchdown reception. But back comes a punt to the left. Safety freezes, allow the angle to the outside not to be there. Michael Irvin, 42-yard reception. Then a field goal later by the young kicker, Richie Cunningham, which is a big question mark of 52 yards. Cowboys up 17-0.
Jim Fossil looking for a 48th birthday present, Terry.
He wanted to establish a hitting. There it is. Jesse Armstead down on the first punt. Really good effort right off the bat. Sets up fake reverse. Gets the linebackers out of flow. Gets the big fullback Charles Way out in the flat down the sideline. 62-yard reception. Longest pass play of Dave Brown's career. 3-yard touchdown run by Brown as the Giants have a 4-point lead over the Eagles.
Upcoming shot is not a flashback. It's a fast forward.
Fast forward, two great Warriors now. We see Torrance Small, a former Saint, down the left sideline. Eric Allen can't stop him. 30-yard TD reception. Rams go up on the ensuing kickoff. Fake reverse by Eric Gulliford, former Viking, down the sideline, back the middle. 102 yards later, Saints go on. Touchdown. 17-14 at the half.
Bobby Ross has the Lions playing well right now. Herman Moore, 43-yard touchdown reception. That's the difference, leading at 14-10.
Collins warming up, hoping to have a big day, hoping to put the old thing about can he take over for Kelly. Well, here it is. First touchdown pass, Jay Ramosa, corner of the end zone, 7-3. And then back comes Johnson into the end zone. Jeff Burles, the cornerback from Notre Dame, doesn't even see that reception. Touchdown, 10-7. Vikings over the Bills at the half.
Cardinals looking for the first victory ever in Cincinnati, on top by 11. Miami at home, nursing a 3-point lead against the Colts. New England all over the Chargers, 31-0 at the half. And Steve McNair looking good as the Oilers lead at 10-0 over the Raiders, that at the half. And coming up next, we'll have a special report on the death of Princess Diana. And a reminder that coming up tonight, it will be a 1-hour special, Diana, the People's Princess, coming your way at 7 o'clock Eastern and Pacific.
The view from across that big old muddy Mississippi. They know all about that thing down in New Orleans. It's a 3-point lead at halftime. Give you a look at our first half highlight, brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, and Bill Maas, no doubt this the play of the first half.
Well, it got the Saints back in the game. I mean, they were down a little bit, and Ditka's trying to find something to put them in a winning position, give them the edge to win the game. And he's used it on the first play with the trick pass, and then again when they got behind, the fake reverse on this kickoff, and it ended up in 7 points. And heck, well, actually it was 8 points because they went for 2 to tie the game.
So as these two coaches, these two teams headed to their respective locker rooms in halftime, what do these two sides have to be proud of in the first half?
Well, you know, I think Ditka is got to be happy with the fact that his guys have responded. Now they've responded to the whole thing. They've responded to what they've done in training camp. They responded to the preseason 3-1 thing. And then they come into this game and they couple trick plays and they're on top now. And they have the sense that they're in the ball game and they can compete. And I think that's what he's trying to build with them. Now for Vermeil, he got behind a little bit, and I think his players were a little apprehensive as well. There were a couple times where they were just a little bit off of what they had to do, and it happened. You saw it on the kickoff return.
So as we take the bigger picture and look at the NFC West, to look at what happened a year ago, Carolina, by virtue of the tiebreaker, ends up on top of San Francisco. But I think it'd be fair to say, Bill, that this division is a little more open than it has been in years past.
Well, sure, and there's 4 new coaches in this division as well. Now, Carolina, to me, got old in 6 months. They were a real good team last year, went to the NFC Championship game, and all of a sudden now they've got problems on defense where their age is. And then San Francisco, I think there's a lot of problems there as well. New coach, new offensive system being put in, and what we've seen in the preseason, nothing to write home about.
Yeah, they really struggled, especially the last couple of games, and it will be interesting to see how the 49ers respond later this afternoon at Tampa Bay. And the new look Tampa Bay Buccaneers, not only a little more talent, but different uniforms. Rams will receive at the start of this second half. And this is J.T. Thomas from just inside the St. Louis end zone. Not much into the 15, where he is met by the New Orleans Saints. Don Davis, one of the backup linebackers there, as we look at the first half statistics and the rushing yards, 51 for the Saints.
Everything's pretty even.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at everything, and it's pretty even. And so is the score. Both of these teams offensively, they want to chew up the clock. They're not really concerned about how many yards they get. They want to chew up the clock, control the game, and put the ball in the end zone.
Time of possession just about even as the Rams open up. Very quiet here in the Dome for the first possession of the second half. And a play action pass, a rollout, and Banks to throw to the sideline, and that's Small again. What a game for Torrance Small. A first half touchdown and this big reception to start the second half.
Well, like we said, Torrance Small got the start because Isaac Bruce is out. But Torrance Small, Joe, you come in and you're playing your own team. I mean, he played here last year at the end of the season, the last game of the year. He played in this dome with a Saints uniform on. Now he gets to come back and play against the team that released him, and he's got to be feeling a little bit of self-satisfaction.
Look at Isaac Bruce over on the sidelines as Phillips cuts it upfield, crosses the 30, and brought down near the 34.
I'm going to tell you what, Phillips, for the first time that I've seen since he came into this league, is everything he's cracked up to be. That little move right there, to me, he faked Fields out, and we just talked about what a great player we think Fields is. But in the backfield, he could have been tackled there, and just that little stutter got him 2 or 3 yards. And I think what he's showing me today with his toughness and everything, his new attitude, and Dick Vermeil is the guy that put that belief into him.
All right.
First play was good for 4, and now second down and 6. Saints showing blitz. Hayward up the middle to the 35 and beyond, brought down at the 36, about 4 yards short of a first down.
Watch, they know that the blitz is coming. They see the guys get jittery up front. Look at the eyes of Field. You don't think they know he's coming, him and Tubbs? Offensive line does a good job of picking it up, but when your quarterback works the snap count a little bit, Joe, you can see the linebackers start cheating, and it makes it easier for the line to pick up that blitz.
On 3rd and 4, a handoff to Phillips. Big pressure. Lawrence Phillips cutting up field and back to the line of scrimmage, maybe, and a 4th down and a punt coming up for St. Louis. Good work by Wayne Martin for New Orleans.
Blown opportunity there. Anytime you're 3rd and 3 or 4, I mean, you've got to convert those.
Brought in the extra receivers. They kept the ball on the ground, and it's time to punt. Will Bryce, his 5th of the afternoon. Left footer gets away a good one. High hanging punt, and Gulliford from the 27 calls for the fair catch. 37-yard punt, no return. Saints with an early hold. They get it back second half.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. By Pizza Hut, home of the new Supreme Pizza with 6 very generous toppings. By Levi's Jeans, they go on. And by American Express, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more.
That's the Mississippi, and this is the Trans World Dome. There was a column written by the local columnist Bernie Miklasz in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch about this dome not being much of a factor. It hasn't been a factor at all, really, to this point. A little noise here as the Saints start with it in hand to Mario Bates. Over the left side, tripped up by Robert Jones, the middle linebacker.
You know, the Saints, Joe, have really had nice field position this whole game. Their average starting field position has been at their own 36-yard line, and that's a great place to start. Anytime you have the short field to go, that's what you try to play. Play good defense and special teams and hold them down there and create the short field.
2nd down and 6. Sellers, the fullback, to the line of scrimmage, maybe picked up half a yard, and a 3rd down coming up for New Orleans.
You know, a lot of this offense is about traps. As we've seen Verstegen pull on those last 2 plays. And that goes back to Tom Moore in the Pittsburgh. Now, this is your offensive line here, these guys. And what they do is they sucker the defensive lineman up and they block him. And that's what springs the whole hole open. And when you see those guards pulling from one side to the other and getting upfield, that's what they're doing. They're trapping a defensive lineman into getting upfield, and then they hit him with the mousetrap.
The dome gets loud on 3rd and 5. Blitz coming, and Schuler under pressure throws low, incomplete. And a penalty flag comes flying in late. And it looks like a pass interference on St. Louis.
That's got to be on Light. He was the only one over there.
Defensive pass interference. The right cornerback. Automatic 1st down at the spot of the foul.
Well, that's McNeil. Ryan McNeil. Now see, Ryan, watch right there. He's got the hand in the face mask. Then he uses his hands there to push off. That's where they got him, that hand to the face mask. Now you see how Ryan was up on the player. He's playing up on him. That's the bump and run. That's man coverage. And he's not used to playing that. He's the free agent, came down from Detroit where they play primarily zone.
1st down from their own 41. And the handoff to Sellers, the fullback, nothing. Second down and 10.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's playing up. That's man coverage. That's bump coverage. And you have to be able to do that to play in Bud's defense. That's pretty good use of the hands right there of getting rid of a block. I mean, he's not an overly big guy.
List him at 6'2", 192, 50-year player from Miami of Florida. 2nd down and 10 from their own 41 for the Saints. And the play action. DeMarco Farr with pressure, and Schuler dumps it off.
Well, they're going to want an intentional grounding call, but it's not. And the reason it's not is because he was out of the pocket. And when the quarterback gets out of the pocket, okay, it's from end to end. When he gets out of that pocket, he can throw it anywhere as long as it's forward into the line of scrimmage. There doesn't have to be a receiver around. See, now, he is out of the pocket right there. And he throws it towards the line of scrimmage, so it's not intentional grounding.
Darrell Hobbs, an extra wide receiver, into the lineup for the Saints on 3rd and 10. Rams showing blitz, and they come. Penalty flag on the play. Play clock showing 0. That's just a guess, and it's the correct guess.
You're 1 for 1, Joe. Still 3rd down.
You're 2 out of 3, by the way. It was McNeil, not Light, earlier. That will make it 3rd and 15. Rams had the ball to start this second half. Saints held on a 3-and-out. And now the Rams defense tries to answer on 3rd and 15. Showing blitz again, and DeMarco Farr jumped. The question is, was he drawn? He points at number 74, Clarence Jones.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 74. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Oh, now you see, Ditka was upset there. We saw a little emotion there on the sidelines. There's number 74. He's going to flinch a little early. Right there, there's the flinch.
Little head bob from DeMarco Farr and Clarence Jones, the former Ram. Guilty, and it's now 3rd and 20. Schuler sacked near the 20. Kevin Carter, DeMarco Farr there for St. Louis.
DeMarco Farr has an unbelievable quick step off the ball. Watch how fast he is off the ball compared to everybody else. He gets off the ball on a stunt with Carter. It's a tackle and stunt, and he comes around them, and there's the pressure.
Second Rams sack of the afternoon, and now Royals will get rid of it from around his own 10. Good punt. Kennison avoids one tackle, crosses the 30, and that is all. 52-yard punt from Mark Roll. Royals gets rid of it. Rams get it back.
See that? That's your IQ, buddy. 0.
All the turnovers.
Bill down to do the post-game interview.
He may be in good spirits, though.
So far, so good for the Saints, leading by 3. 9:37 left in the 3rd quarter from their own 30. Banks under pressure, rolling, and he dumps it off outside of the pocket. And it was Mickle with the latest pressure on Banks, who gets up slowly.
You know, watch Tony Banks here. I mean, he gets beat. John Jarrett gets beat up front by Pio Sangapulatelli. But watch him in the pocket. I mean, last year, I think he could have done anything right here. But see what he does? He knows when to get rid of the ball now. He knows when to take a sack and get rid of the ball and not make mistakes. He's starting to learn. This kid has a lot of potential. And Jerry Rome spent the whole offseason with him trying to bring it out.
Ron Moore now in the backfield for St. Louis on 2nd and 10.
Okay.
And the play clock expires on the Rams.
And he's upset with himself. You know, you have all those things to think about, and the fumbles last year was a big concern of his, and everybody had a different answer for it. You know, and he said that basically I didn't know what was going on, and I'd look at a defense and I'd see them about to do something, I'd get real anxious and I'd back out of there early. And then he spent all offseason with Jerry Rome. That's the offensive coordinator there, and Jerry's been around a long time. He's worked with a lot of offenses, Houston Oilers, he's with the Redskins, and he's really helped this kid out.
Now 2nd down and 15, over the middle, across the 40. Kennison, room to run, inside the 35 of New Orleans.
That's a dangerous man right there. He is dangerous. The speed, the way this guy can run, and what he does after the ball. He was really overshadowed last year by all the other rookies. Now watch this right here. Watch him come in on the slant. Takes it upfield, breaks to the inside. See that? And the safety's over the top. Perfect throw. Now watch him find the open area in the field. This guy can run, man. He is Ben Johnson in a helmet and shoulder pads.
Won the competition for the NFL's fastest man award as Banks gets out of trouble, throws on the run, and incomplete, no flags. Alex Molden with tight coverage, too tight for the St. Louis fans.
People wanted a call right there, but this was a nice break on the ball by Molden. Watch him time this perfectly. He steps his hand right. That's not pass interference. That's not pass. That arm draped over the back, it wasn't actually on his back. They try to keep that there. They teach that in the NFL. In case you miss the ball, you're still there to have a tackle.
Now on second down, Phillips gets nothing met in the backfield. And that's St. Louis and Joe Johnson who made the tackle in a loss of 2.
You know, the Saints have a pretty good defensive front four. They're young, they're talented guys. Wayne Martin's a little bit older, but he's a stud in the middle. And then Joe Johnson, they flopped him back and forth. He's been at left end, he's been at left tackle, and now he's over here on the right end side. And he's a guy that can make a lot of plays for you.
Phillips is over on the sidelines, hot. On 3rd and long, Banks hit as he throws, and a penalty flag comes in. Joe Johnson with pressure, and will wait and check the call. And it'll be a hold against St. Louis. Gandy may be guilty. He's back there with Banks.
Gandy's not happy about it. It's a call on him, and he's not happy about it.
Holding, number 70, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Let's take a look. There's number 70, Gandy, and he's blocking Joe Johnson. That's not holding. That was a good block. You know, he just actually tried to keep at the end the guy from hitting his quarterback. On the other side,
Miller, he got a hold of a jersey.
That could have been holding.
Now on 3rd and 22, Banks steps up, dumps it off to the tight end Conwell. Up the middle, he's alone. Into open territory, breaking tackles, looking for the end zone, touchdown.
What a run by Ernie Conwell. Unbelievable. That's going to be on a lot of people's highlight film.
Mike Ditka would have been proud of that.
But Dick Vermeil is.
Extra point is good. What an effort by Ernie Conwell. Scores his first touchdown, dragging Mickey Washington all the way home.
Add Ernie Conwell to your list of deep threats now with Isaac Bruce and Eddie Kennison. Watch, he helps out on the block first, and then when Banks gets in trouble, he settles into the open area. Then it's all Conwell.
46-yard touchdown completion. And now Wilkins kicks it to Troy Davis. He gets his turn. Breaking tackles, crossing the 25, lost the football. And we wait for the call. Troy Davis lost the handle, and we'll see who comes up with it. Let the scramble begin. Each side saying they have it, and no ruling yet.
Keith Crawford says it's Rams ball.
Rams ball.
Oh, there's the rookie, Troy Davis. And that ball came out as he was getting hit. That was not the ground that caused that ball to come out. Marquis Walker.
Walker comes away with it, and Mike Ditka and the Saints losing that turnover battle.
Yeah, that's not going to make Mike happy. You know, not the fact that they put him in a tough position right here after they just scored, but just the fact that you can't give the ball away, because he wants to have an offense that runs the ball, controls the clock. He wants good defense, special teams, and take care of the football. Can't lose that.
And a little pat on the top of the helmet of Troy Davis. But burning inside, Ditka sees the Rams again take over on offense from the New Orleans 26. Back to the air. Why not? Back to Conwell, but incomplete. How about another look at that touchdown run?
Yeah, it's worth another look. I mean, that thing was a thing of beauty. Here he is right here. Well, he helps out first on blocks. Okay, then he gets out, and then he sees the quarterback in trouble, and he settles right in between the backers and never breaks stride. It was a great job of Banks by finding him. And then watch him right here. Watch him kick away from the last tackler. He just kicks his leg. Get off.
It was a 3rd and 22 as Lawrence Phillips gets the handoff, cuts upfield toward the end zone, his second of the day.
Wow. You know, at halftime, we were sitting here talking, Joe, and we said, what do you think? What do you think? And I said, well, I think the Saints have used all those trick plays. Now they got to play football, and I don't think they can play with the Rams, because the Rams personnel. We've seen Kennison.
Now we see Phillips, but it might have been a costly touchdown run. Phillips down near the corner of the end zone with that knee being looked at, or maybe a cramp, the way they're rubbing it. You never like to guess on injuries, but the way they're rubbing it, you would have to think cramp.
And they're going to keep running him too, Joe. That's one thing Dick Vermeil said. He said, hey, I'm going to get this guy the ball, and he's got to run for me for 4 quarters. Just like Wilbert Montgomery did for him with the Eagles.
Vermeil goes down to meet him along the sidelines. Wilkins is good again. And just like that, it's an 11-point St. Louis lead. Lawrence Phillips has been Vermeil's project. So far, so good for the Rams and the second-year pro.
Watch the left side of the offensive line here. That's Gandy, Girac, and tight end Conwell. Look at him on this block of Joe Johnson. That sets the whole thing up.
Lawrence Phillips with a dart into the end zone. 2 touchdowns in 24 seconds for the Rams. And an 11-point lead. Wilkins kicks it back. This is Gulliford. He already has one today, looking for another. Won't get it. Drilled short of the 30. I've been practicing his name all week. Juan Janvita Kazadi with the tackle.
That's Kazadi.
Bless you. Next week, it's a Fox NFL doubleheader. It all starts with America's most wanted pregame show. Then catch the Vikings taking on the Bears, and the Super Bowl champion Packers clash with the Eagles, or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. A toss to Mario Bates. Penalty flag on the play as Bates is met at the 33. Robert Jones, the middle linebacker, over to make the stop. And it looks like it's against New Orleans. It is.
Fumbles.
Holding, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
The fumbles, the penalties, the mistakes that are starting to break down now as you see the Saints. It is not the thought that Mike Ditka had of what he wanted to get out of this thing. He tried to give him the confidence early with the quick hits, the trick plays, the quick scores. But you can see now he's in a battle. Now he's got to find out, after watching this film, what guys will fight for you.
The Rams defenders begging this crowd to make some noise on 1st and 20. Schuler has to throw. Penalty flag again on the play and incomplete. Looking for Mario Bates.
Another holding penalty. It's going to back him up again. This time I think it's going to go to Willie Roaf.
A second half collapse for the Saints.
Holding, number 77, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, Roaf's got his hands full. He's got his hands full. Leslie O'Neal is bringing it to him. As you take a look here, New Orleans, this half, -4 yards in total offense. And this isn't helping him. You know, the fumble on the kickoff. Now we had 2 back-to-back holding penalties.
1st and 30. And another New Orleans penalty.
See, when this crowd gets going down here towards the end zone, they can't hear. And that time it's Ricky Sigler, number 71. He jumps early. He's in for Clarence Jones.
False start, prior to the snap, number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Now it gets noisy down here in the close end as you can listen to the crowd. The Saints were concerned about it coming here. They practiced all week with the crowd noise pumped up.
From the end zone, incomplete. And Schuler again under heavy pressure. Pfeiffer peels himself off Heath Schuler.
Yeah, feeling himself is right. They bring it, and you're going to bring it with the crowd noise and everything you got going. They're backed up, they're confused, and they come after it. Actually, they should have been called for offsides again. Willie Roaf jumped before the snap.
Second and 35. Schuler stumbles in the end zone, gets up, fires, intercepted by Lyle. Penalty flag on the play. And this also might be against New Orleans. And Schuler gets into it with DeMarco Farr in the Saints end zone.
Boy, there's a lot of mistakes here. First of it, they're backed up. He trips on the guard, Andy McCollum. He's down. Now,
pass interference, number 81, offense.
Yeah, it's an offensive pass interference. Now, he gets up. He should have gotten rid of the ball, but he shouldn't have tried to make a completion out of the deal. In light of it all, then you come up with a Keith Lyle interception, and you also had your Randall Hill, number 81, was down there. He had offensive holding, pass interference offense, so bunch of problems on that play for the Saints.
Schuler's hot. Farr came after him after the interception. You don't think Mike Ditka's back in this league? He is hot over on that far sideline. And this has been an utter collapse here in the second half. Now from the New Orleans 24. First down and Ironhead up the middle. The Saints aren't stopping anything.
I'm going to tell you something about this. You can't think of a guy, I can't anyhow, that has played fullback in this league for 10 years and does what this guy does. He's played down in New Orleans. He's played in Atlanta's run and shoot and went to the Pro Bowl there as a one-back. He's here as an H-back doing everything. For 10 years, this guy can run, he can catch, and he can knock the snot out of people.
Second down and 2. Again, Hayward. Nothing. Met in the backfield by Anthony Newman.
You know, and Dick Vermeer went out and got him. And I think the reason he got him is plays like this. This is last year when he was with the Falcons. Watch this block on Jeff Loggeman. His head pops off. And then he gets excited. He lets him know, get out of here and stay out of here. Kicks the helmet. That's the kind of toughness he brings to a team.
Signed through the year 2000 here in St. Louis. Now third and a couple. Lawrence Phillips. Inside the 10 to the 7. And another first down, and those knee problems for Lawrence Phillips a distant memory right now.
Yeah, and bring the trainer down there and let him rub on those things some more, because that was a great cutback move. Well, good blocking over here, but watch his selectiveness. Watch the way here's the blocks. They go outside. This is a little toss outside. Handoff. Now watch him choose where to go. He sees it and he cuts it back. Now that's some of the things that I've heard about over the years of Lawrence Phillips, but I haven't seen until today.
This is one tired New Orleans defense. And the Rams keep bringing it up the middle. And good push by Pio Sagapulitelli. He got the hit on Phillips. Second down and goal coming up. Under 5 minutes to play in this third quarter.
And remember the last time the ball was down here, how noisy it was? And these fans know what's going on. Listen how quiet it is now that the Rams are down here.
Toss to Phillips. They want to prove they can run. Mission accomplished. First career 3-touchdown game for Lawrence Phillips.
You know what the scary thought of it is, Joe, too? Is they don't have Isaac Bruce in there yet. We've seen Conwell, Phillips, Kennison, Tony Banks leading it all.
Another PAT for Wilkins. A 5-play drive covering 24 yards after the Lyle interception. Phillips good from 5. He's been good all day. And the Rams open it up here in St. Louis. The Rams in this third quarter, 21 points in just under 4 minutes, and a 3-touchdown day for Lawrence Phillips. Wilkins to kick again. Wow. Everybody's charged up, even the kicker. After September 19th, your Friday nights will never be the same. Who is he? Why is he here? Prepare yourself for his arrival. The Visitor, followed by the season premiere of Millennium. Friday, September 19th on Fox. You thought that was about me. Who is he? Why is he here? Didn't you?
I'm just glad you're here, Joe.
Heath Schuler, 2 of his last 11 for -2 yards and a pick. 2 of his last 12 and almost another. Robert Jones in and out of his hand.
Irv Smith made sure it wasn't one. And you know what you're going to get. Heath Schuler knows they're going to start bringing people. He's going to be in the face of pressure right now with this Bud Carson defense.
Bud Carson knows what to do with a lead defensively. Under 4 to play in the third quarter, 2nd and 10. Quick throw and Mario Bates overthrown, and this is like a nightmare for Schuler and the Saints. A McDonald's game break. Back to JB at our Fox Television Center.
Hey, Joe and Bill, Troy Aikman has tied his career high with 4 touchdown passes. One of them coming up right here. A little swing pass to Darryl Johnston. Who picks him up, you ask? No one. Dallas spanking Pittsburgh 34-0. Steelers may not be ready for prime time yet. Back to Joe Buck and Bill Maas.
You know what? Finally, maybe now, all those guys that left in free agency for the Steelers may have caught up to him.
Darryl Hobbs in the lineup for the Saints, 3rd and 10. Rams do not bring the blitz, and Schuler's hit as he throws, nearly picked off by Jones.
He's down, too. He is down.
Schuler is laid out. Jeff Robinson celebrating after that hit.
He was throwing that ball in motion as he got hit in that arm. Watch this. He never sees Robinson coming. Just as that arm is coming forward, he takes a shot right in it.
Billy Robinson, a guy brought here to St. Louis mainly as a deep snapper, but got a lot of work in the preseason and played well. And they hit on Schuler. He's off the field. So's the Saints offense. Kennison waits for the punt from Royals. Beautiful punt. Kennison from the 31. Watch out. Touchdown saving tackle made.
This team can be electrifying.
Sammy Knight saved a touchdown with his tackle. A 19-yard return by Eddie Kennison.
And this team, these special team units are going to come together. Now, early on, they got faked out a couple times, but there's so much talent on this team, young talent, that Frank Gans is going to get it out of them. And this one almost went the distance. You know, you have to look, and it's one play right there that just one guy. Sometimes that's all it takes. You know, Joe, I saw them last week in their last preseason game. That is the Rams. And I was talking with Dick Vermeil, and he was all questionable about this. But as I look at this team in this division, with as young a talent as they have, and as explosive as they can be, I have them picked. I got to say right now, I think they're going to finish second in this division. And the team that finishes first will probably be San Fran or Carolina, but whoever doesn't will finish third because they'll have fallen so bad. Werfel, as you can see, warming up. You know, and Ditka did not want Werfel to have to get in this game. He said, boy, I hope I don't have to get in a situation where I have to play this kid.
Well, this, Bill, has been like an avalanche against this New Orleans Saints offense. And while it's been getting worse, the Rams have been piling on. And then when you know the Saints have to throw, then they start coming after Schuler, and it's been a long day for Heath. Orlando Pace back in the lineup for St. Louis, and why not? They've got an 18-point lead, and give them a little seasoning here.
Yeah, I mean, if they've got all the other pieces in place, if they can get this offensive line to gel together like they want, it'll really help them out.
From midfield on first down, they're going to run the ball now. Ironhead Hayward got a yard, that's it. Good work by Mark Fields in the middle of it, along with Darren Mickle.
That's what Heath Schuler's had to face today. 11 blitzes, 11 hurries. And you know what? Hey, Bud Carson's been around this game a long time. When you get a quarterback in there, young quarterback, new offensive system, come at him. Bring everything at him and let him adjust. And if he beats you, then hats off to him.
Second down and 9. And the toss to Phillips. Penalty flag on the play. Winfred Tubbs made the tackle after a gain of 6, but we'll check the marker.
That's going to be holding. I think they're going to get Zach Wiegert. But boy, I'll tell you what, I like the way Phillips is running the ball.
And this is a guy that was questionable really all week with that bad knee.
Well, I think questionable this season for more than the reasons of his knee. I think last year, you know, he never really.
Holding. Number 72 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
And that's Zach Wiegert who pulled outside to try to pick up the linebackers as Tubbs walks off the field slowly for the Saints. But Phillips, like I said, I think he had a lot of things to prove. I mean, this is a good start for him in his opener with the 3 touchdowns and stuff, and he needs that to put all that stuff behind him off the field, throw it out. That's the pass. This is the new Phillips.
That's Jim Hannafin, one of the greatest offensive line coaches in the history of the NFL.
He was a head coach here in St. Louis.
And really had a good run with the St. Louis Cardinals before they left town. Second down and 19. Delayed handoff, Amp Lee. Looking for a block from a wide receiver. Got near the New Orleans 45. And then thrown down late by Vashon Adams.
Well, Pace held up the corner there. I was going to say, now when are they going to start running behind him? When are they going to get a chance? They've been going this way. Now watch him. He seals this whole thing. He just seals that wall, and he is a wall. You don't think that's bunched up, and then he comes off and tries to get downfield to the linebacker. This is a young man learning the game, learning the pro game and the speed of it. But Dick Vermeil said they love this kid, and you can see why. When you turn that corner and you make a wall there, that's a wall. He has everything bunched up. Joe, you and I could run behind there.
Does not go overboard. End around to Keith Crawford. Looking for room to run. Has a first down inside the 30. Stays in bounds. And he's down to the 24.
Keith Crawford was a cornerback up in Green Bay last year. And they brought him down here, and they made him into a wide receiver now. And they love this guy's athletic ability. And not only is he great at when he gets the ball in his hand and running and catching the ball, but he's a heck of a special teams player for him.
Mike Grudadaria, the center, was out there helping to block. With Kennison and Ross lining up as the wide receivers. The hand is to Phillips. Down to the 20. And you're right about Lawrence Phillips. Coming into this season, didn't have to prove just that he was a good football player. He had to prove he was going to be a good citizen.
You know, and citizen, you talk about citizen, you talked about living with Vermeil and his wife. I mean, and to me, like I said at the top, I think Dick Vermeil brings that to this team. He brings leadership. This guy's just not a teacher of the game. He's teaching life to these young kids, and these young guys need it, in my opinion. At 21 years old, you get $26 million. You need some guidance.
What a second half for the Rams as Phillips tries the left side. He gets to the 17 and thrown backward by Ernest Dixon, a backup middle linebacker. And that play will end the third quarter. Might be the best quarter ever played by the Rams since they moved to St. Louis. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after this from your local Fox station.
We can beat this football team. If the Dallas Cowboys are going to take us for granted, we'll whip their ass.
Plays here. I got to stay calm now.
Well, he's easy to be calm right now with that comfortable lead, but I bet if we could listen in on the headphones over on the other sideline, I bet you'd hear a little bit about telling people to stay calm.
And there's a path being made in front of Mike Ditka as people are filing out of his way as he stomps over on that far sideline. It's a 3rd and 5 for St. Louis inside the New Orleans 20. Quick throw on the slant, incomplete. Good coverage. Kennison, the intended receiver, and one guy you can highlight today for New Orleans is Alex Molden. He's had a big day.
Yeah, it's one bright spot, and that's a spot they weren't real sure of either. I mean, they knew this kid had a lot of talent. And they knew he can make some things happen. But what he's actually been last year, all he did was he came to camp hurt, and all he did was play nickel back for him. So this is actually his first game as a true starter for the rest of the season, and you've got to be pleased with what they've seen.
Also has a sack today to go with that great coverage. Wilkins tries the field goal. He pushes it right and no good. A 36-yarder. He was a perfect 9 for 9 in preseason. And last year was about as automatic from that range as any kicker. Still 35-17.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller Time. By Oracle, the company that's enabling the information age through network computing. By the owners, managers, and crew who proudly call the McDonald's in your neighborhood my McDonald's. And by Starter, professional sportswear worn by more teams and more major sports than any other brand.
4th-round draft pick from Florida, Heisman Trophy winner Danny Werfel takes over for Heath Schuler, and they start him out slowly with a handoff to Sellers. He got 2 up the middle, brought down by Jeff Scanina, and we've seen a lot of defensive substitutions up front for the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams have their second string defensive line in there. Now the backers are the same and the defensive backs are the same, but they're giving their starters a blow up front.
They've got Jeff Robinson in, Jeff Scanina in, Brian Robinson in there, Jay Williams. Second down, Werfel, his first pass in the NFL is caught, complete for a first down outside the 41 by Andre Hastings.
Now that was a pretty good play on the part of Werfel. And what he's done through the preseason, he came in, he was a third string quarterback, he's worked his way up, and the coaches are really impressed by this young man. Is his ability. He's a smart quarterback. He was smart in Florida. He knows he doesn't have all the potential in the world, but he can make things happen.
Toss to Mario Bates, trying to bounce it outside, and the cutback brought down at the 45, 6 short of a first down. We get official word on Heath Schuler, and he is medically okay, but might be a little rattled. He's taken a lot of shots, and Werfel gets his chance.
Well, you know, that's interesting, because if he can play and you know you're out of it, I guess they're saying, well, we'll just see what this guy can do. Get him some reps, because shots like that, if Schuler takes him, I'm going to need this kid to be ready.
Second pass for Werfel. Has to scramble. Throws it right into the face of Jeff Robinson. Pressure by Jay Williams.
Well, you know, you got to protect the quarterback. You got to buy him some time to do something. And they don't have it here at all. I mean, there's people all in the backfield. Now, everybody's covered downfield, but the offensive line just only blocked to a certain point, then stop.
Bud Carson just sent in all 4 defensive linemen that started the game. O'Neal, Farr, Bill Johnson, and Kevin Carter. They're fresh, and they're coming after Werfel.
Yeah, that's when you want to get in the game, when it's 3rd and long.
Quick throw and complete for a first down. That's Ray Zellers out of the backfield. A Minnesota Buffalo update on a McDonald's game break. Back to JB.
Joe and Bill, a career day for Robert Smith of the Vikings. Career long 78-yard run from scrimmage here. Career high 169 yards. Hey, fellas, I think he's bounced back from that knee injury. Vikes on top, 27-13. Back to Joe and Bill.
Boy, if he can stay healthy, they should be able to rush the ball well all year, because they have a huge offensive line.
First down for the Saints. Werfel moving the ball. Rams showing blitz. Here they come, and a quick throw along the far sideline and out of the reach of Andre Hastings. They like what Werfel's been able to do at the line of scrimmage and recognize.
That's exactly right, Joe. That's how he's moved up. I mean, that's what caught their eye. He doesn't have a cannon for an arm. He doesn't have a big, strong arm. He reminds me a lot of a Montana type of guy. He has character about him in the huddle. The guys like him. They rally around him, and he's smart. When he sees a blitz at the line of scrimmage, this is what he did in the preseason. He was like 100% calling it and checking out of it to another play.
114 touchdown throws in his great collegiate career at Florida. There is nothing there. Zellers, the intended receiver on the screen, and Pfeiffer was right in the middle of it for St. Louis. Extra receivers check in on 3rd and 10 for New Orleans. Werfel 2 out of 5 since taking over for Schuler. Pressure by Leslie O'Neal. Wow. Sack Leslie O'Neal.
All Leslie O'Neal. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. You know, you question about him, you talk about Leslie O'Neal, and you say this guy can't play anymore. And last year he was a bust. He wasn't worth the money. Watch this. This is against one of the best in the business, Willie Rofe. He takes his inside shoulder and blows through Rofe and the guard, McCollum, and wraps up Werfel. All right, that's a powerful pass rush right there, folks.
Royals back to punt. Kennison waiting deep. And it's been a big second half for that St. Louis defense. Beautiful punt by Royals. However, headed for the end zone, and not what he had in mind. The Rams will get it at their own 20. Under 12 to play in the final quarter. The Rams in charge, leading by 18. Well, if you haven't heard about the visitor by now, you must be from another planet. The world will be watching on Friday, September 19th at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, when the visitor arrives on Fox. Prepare yourself. We talked about that third quarter, Bill Maas. The Saints 2 turnovers leading to 14 points. Rams scored 21 points in 3 minutes 53 seconds to take charge of this game.
Well, the turnovers also led to a lot of confidence for the Rams.
And on 1st and 10 from their own 20, with Orlando Pace still in the lineup for St. Louis, Lawrence Phillips back to the line of scrimmage. It says a lot about the health of his knee that he's still out there running the ball, leading by 18 in the fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, you know, I think they want to get him used to playing all 4 quarters, because this is a game getting out of hand here in the Rams' favor, but there's going to come a time when they're going to need him in the fourth quarter. So he's a young man, so why take him out right now? Get him used to toting the ball 4 quarters, because a lot of times in the fourth quarter, that if you have a good, strong running game, that's when you're going to need it.
Last year as a rookie, he had 2 100-yard days. Trying to get to the 80 mark here. The toss running right to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. Fields lays a big hit. He had help from Tubbs. And a gain of 1 brings up 3rd and 9.
You know, Joe, I think that not only does Vermeil want Phillips to stay in there, I think Vermeil wants to stay in. I think Phillips wants to stay in there. He wants to stay in the game. He wants to be a part of it. He doesn't want to come out. This is a competitive young man. He's got 3 touchdowns, but he wants to have a bunch of yards rushing as well.
He comes out here on 3rd and 9. Amp Lee and Ronald Moore in the backfield for the Rams. 3 wide receivers set, and they'll throw. To the sideline, Amp Lee. Short of a first down by a yard. Good tackle, Mickey Washington.
It was Mickey.
Oh, Mickey. You're so fine. And a yard short of a first down. Time for the Rams to punt. Will Bryce, his 6th. Getting his feet wet and then some in the NFL, his rookie debut. Gulliford waiting deep. Ugly punt. Gulliford from the 29. Gets a block. Gets to the sideline and will duck out of bounds around midfield. Definitely a weapon, Eric Gulliford. For years they've watched Tyrone Hughes back there in New Orleans. They've got a good one in Gulliford. Well, Dick Vermeil is back, and it's been a nice return to the sidelines. Last down there in 1982 for Philadelphia, a 14-year layoff.
That's
3rd on the list, not the longest at all. Old Patty Driscoll with the longest. And it's been a triumphant return so far. Werfel throwing deep. Todd Light incomplete, and had a chance for his 2nd interception of the day.
Well, Werfel made the right decision there where to throw the ball. When you get the man-to-man coverage on the outside, you're going to throw it up there. I mean, 2 good things can happen, either the reception or the pass interference. But almost the 3rd thing could have happened right there. It could have been the interception, too.
2nd down and 10 from midfield. Werfel now 2 of 6 in his debut. The throw to the sideline, caught. Nice catch. No, incomplete, out of bounds. Randall Hill could not get the 2nd foot down. Well, if you're just joining us late, a lot of tricks early for Mike Ditka and the New Orleans Saints. They came out 2 flea flickers in the first quarter. They came out throwing the ball and really started out well, but after the tricks were over and a big kickoff return for a touchdown, it's been all St. Louis leading by 18. 9.5 minutes left. Troy Davis off the right side on 3rd and 10. Puts his head down and gets a first down inside the 40.
You know, it's funny. You know, you look at Ditka and you look at this team and you think, wow, they come out with the trick plays, you know? And so it makes you kind of wonder, well, are they trying to hide something? They're trying to hide. Maybe they need to score fast and get this team some confidence so they believe in themselves. And then they fall apart and they don't respond to it. Now you're seeing a lot of young guys. You're getting Werfel a chance to play. You're getting Troy Davis in there, getting ready for the future.
On 1st down, the throw over the middle and caught. Diving catch by the tight end, Irv Smith.
I like Werfel. I like the touch he has on the ball. Now, he had a nice throw to the sidelines here that Randall Hill didn't catch. And then this throw right here. Here's the tight end. That's Irv Smith. Watch him come down and settle right there in the cushion in the zone. And watch the touch on the ball by Werfel. Gets behind the linebacker and puts it right over the linebacker's head, right in Irv Smith's hands. Nice throw.
Good throw, good catch. 1st down from the 20. Blitz. And the fake end around. DeMarco Farr from behind Troy Davis, and a penalty flag on the play against New Orleans. Think DeMarco Farr's quick. Wow. And this will be marked off against the Saints.
Holding, number 82, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
That's the 2nd time he's got called for it. And what do they do? You see what Ditka just did there? He said, send in Tony Johnson, get him out. It's exactly what he just did. Irv Smith comes out right now.
Everybody is still in the audition mode for Mike Ditka. Irv.
I don't know if you should,
don't bother.
I don't know if you should try that approach right there.
You're not going to convince him.
Yeah.
Get Harbaugh on the phone. He'll
exactly
convince you. Don't do that. Big pressure up the middle, and Werfel hangs in, gets rid of it, and incomplete. Now they call, incomplete, as Hastings could not hang on.
Well, see, they were about to rule a catch, and because he was in bounds and got shoved out of bounds.
Right into a little grouping of cheerleaders.
Watch the pass right here. It's caught and he gets pushed out, so they're going to say they're ready to call it fair, inbounds. And then a little tragedy there.
Todd Light.
That's going to hurt tomorrow morning.
2nd and 20, Werfel to throw. Buys time over the middle, caught, touchdown. What a throw, Andre Hastings.
I like Werfel. I like the touch he has on the ball.
A 30-yard touchdown throw from Werfel, his first in the NFL, and Hastings his first with New Orleans. And this dome gets quiet again.
But you know, this kid, he comes in here you're seeing why he got a Heisman Trophy. I mean, that's a nice touch on the ball. And I've seen it every time he's thrown the ball. In the face of pressure as well.
Now Doug Bryant with a point after is good. A 6-play drive covering 50 yards, and what a throw from Werfel.
In the face of pressure, too. Watch the post. Heading right to it. He's scrambling around back there, throws it off of 1 foot, puts it right on the money. Well, I like that. I like that throw. I like that kid. I liked him when he was at Florida, too.
It's an 11-point game with over 7.5 minutes remaining, so this game is far from over. And the shot in the arm that the Saints needed was Danny Werfel. Schuler, by the way, has gone into the locker room as Bobby April, I think, is begging for a little coverage. Not television, kickoff.
Look at the innocence in that face. He has no idea really where he's at. All he knows is that he plays quarterback. That first NFL game, they're up and then they're down, and Schuler's out, and I'm in. I'm in to try to revitalize this offense. He goes in there and starts throwing the ball around.
Doug Bryan will kick it away, and amp lead. J.T. Thomas wait deep for the Rams. Saints trying to get back in this game. 35-24, 11 points. Over 7.5 minutes remaining. This will be Thomas from the yard deep in the end zone. Thought about it. Should have stayed in the end zone, and he gets it to the 16. 17-yard return, and we will keep it right here as the St. Louis offense heads to work. Richard Roundtree adds an incredible ensemble cast in 413 Hope Street, the most powerful place on television this fall, premiering Thursday, September 11th, here on Fox. Orlando Pace comes out of the lineup for St. Louis. As you look at the return yardage, a ton for New Orleans, 102 of that on a kick return for a touchdown by Eric Gulliford. On first down, they hand to Lawrence Phillips, dragging the pile, crossing the 20 down to the 24. He dragged Wayne Martin with him.
Well, I like the way this kid runs too. I mean, we're seeing a lot of talent out here today. And for the Rams side of the ball, this is Lawrence Phillips. Today's a big day for him. Watch when he hits the hole. He's wrapped up and he's dragging people. That's Wayne Martin. That's a Pro Bowl defensive tackle who is regarded by offensive linemen as a stud in this league. Phillips just took him for a ride.
For Phillips now up to 83 yards. He got 8 there. Second down and 2. Long snap count. Stay on the ground. Stay with Phillips to the 34. And Lawrence Phillips answering some questions and putting smiles on the faces of Rams fans and coaches here today.
Look at this run. You know what? He got about 10 yards. He would have got more if he had followed his block. If he had followed Hayward, there's even more there. But he cuts it outside and picks it up on his own, dashing through defenders and dragging a few. And the guy that's coaching him is the guy that did it and hauled the ball. That's Wilbert Montgomery. Remember Wilbert who toted him? He's the one that took the Eagles to the NFC Championship game and to the Super Bowl for Dick Vermeil. He is now coaching Lawrence Phillips.
3-time 1,000-yard rusher. Didn't look that worn out when he was playing. Hayward to the line of scrimmage and thrown backward. Good pursuit by the Saints, led by Marshawn Adams. But he had help.
And he needs help. You don't throw Hayward backwards by yourself.
Each side with their full complement of timeouts. Coming up on the 5.5-minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
Each side with their full complement of coaches too. I mean, you know, you talk about Vermeil and you talk about Ditka, but heck, they got all-star coaches on both sides.
Second down and 10. Stay on the ground. They give it to Phillips. Back up the middle. Has a first down into New Orleans territory. Lowers his shoulder and rolls over Molden with a St. Louis first down.
Now, guess what, folks? You're witnessing this week's NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
113 yards today and 3 touchdowns.
Watch the cutback. This play starts out over here to the right and gets in traffic and then just springs it back out here to the open field. This is some nice running. Watch the elusiveness. Watch the vision. And all great backs have that. They have that vision to find where it is, where that open field is, and where they can cut it back.
First and 10 from Saints territory. Lead block Hayward and Ron Moore in the lineup. Gets a yard. Lawrence Phillips, who last year had 2 100-yard days, is 1 for 1 in 1997.
And the way I see him running, he's in for a lot more.
Career high in both yards and touchdowns.
Well-deserved drink of water.
Coming up on the 4-minute mark. Under 4 to play in this fourth quarter. Opening day of 1997. And the Rams trying to start out 1-0. Ron Moore, not much to the 45 and met by the Saints. The ground game for St. Louis is erased 3.5 minutes off the clock.
Did it have a big giant eraser on there? Did they use that?
You got your rest last night. 3:41 left. Rams with the ball and the lead. Next week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. It all starts with America's most watched pregame show. Then catch the Vikings taking on Chicago. And the Super Bowl champion Packers clashing against the Eagles or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox. 3rd down and 9 from the New Orleans 45. The Rams to throw. Kennison with the catch, or did it bounce? It's a catch, and it's right at the first down marker.
Boy, that was unbelievable by Eddie Kennison coming back to the ball. He came back to the ball and just got his fingertips under the ball. Now this is thrown behind him. Watch him sprinting back to it. Oh, that may have hit the ground. Bobby April was there. He was unhappy with the call. That's a catch. That is good.
He got 9. He stayed in bounds. He got a first down, and you would expect the Rams to keep the ball on the ground. Lawrence Phillips to the 30.
Boy, they are just loaded, Joe. I mean, really, they are loaded with young talent. I can't think of a team in the league that has as much young talent as they do. You know, and then they're rushing the ball, and they get everybody involved. They get Hayward a couple times, and then they get Amp Lee some carries and Ron Moore some carries. You know, spread it around a little bit so that they can save Phillips in the 4th quarter. Because like you said before, they're erasing all this time off the clock in the 4th quarter by virtue of running the game. And that's where you win games, running the ball in the 4th quarter.
Coming up on the 2-minute mark. 2nd down and 4. Phillips again on the toss, the cutback. He gets a first down inside the 25. It's worth mentioning the first victory as we approach the 2-minute warning for Georgia Frontier and the Rams in St. Louis 2 years ago was at Busch Stadium over the New Orleans Saints. It's a new regime. It's the same owner. Looks like the same result. Rams leading by 11.
Boy, it really is great to have these two guys back in football. As I said earlier, you know, everybody's disheartened over sports in general with money and egos and off-field problems and all kinds of stuff going on. You've got these two guys that bring back everything that is lost to me in sports. The hard work, the dedication, the team spirit, and all that stuff that somehow got lost with money and promotional stuff. These guys bring it back, and I think it's great for everybody.
Ron Moore, the setback. 2 minutes left in this one. Tries out the right side, doesn't get much on first down. Well, this St. Louis Rams team next week will host the San Francisco 49ers, go to Denver the week following. It's not easy at the start for St. Louis.
No, and you know, Dick Vermeil has already penciled them the team. He already knows every stat there is to know about San Francisco. You know, when he was in Philadelphia, he made the red dot. He put that red dot on Dallas. He wanted to beat Dallas every year. And that's the same thing he's doing here. He has them penciled in. That's his team that he wants to beat, the San Francisco 49ers.
And the way the Rams are playing today, they may have their hands full when they come to this dome a week from today.
I don't know a team, Joe, in football right now that has this much young talent.
Good to see that the cheerleader is in good spirits. 2nd down and 10. Moore again. And a minimal gain. Lawrence Phillips, 27 yards in the first half, 98 yards in the second half. Another timeout called for by New Orleans. This game presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the St. Louis Rams and the National Football League is prohibited.
This right here, Joe, that's a winner. A 6-minute drive at the end of the game to assure a win. That you win football games in the National Football Leagues in the 4th quarter with 11 play 6-minute drives.
Billy, I think it's worth pointing out that while Dick Vermeil has a lot of young talent to work with, the former regime here of Steve Ortmeyer, the general manager, and head coach Rich Brooks laid a lot of this foundation, not only through the draft by getting these guys,
exactly right.
but Brooks had to take the shots last year playing all these rookies.
And that was a big plus for Vermeil. All these guys got experience last year by playing.
Play action rollout. Banks on the run. Dodging tacklers and is brought down by Vashon Adams inside the New Orleans 20. Showed you the schedule for St. Louis. About New Orleans, they go home and they open their home schedule with the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, and you know, they've got some things they've got to address. And I think Ditka knows it. I think you got to take a look at the quarterback situation again. Werfel's a player. You got to bring him along good enough. I think he can make a push someplace along this season to be your guy. Their offensive line needs tightened up a little bit, but it's a shame these two guys had to play each other in their opener in their return to football because they both deserve to win.
Wilkins, another 36-yard try, and this time he is good. No flags on the play. And it becomes 38-24 St. Louis with about a minute left to play here in game 1 of 1997. Looks like Phillips will end the day. 26 rushes, 125 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, you know, we talked about New Orleans and we're thinking, you know, they got to run the ball. They got to run the ball. Well, the bottom line is that they had more yards and penalties than they did. Yeah, there, look, more penalty yards than they had rushing yards. And I think they got themselves in a hole. When they tried the trick plays, they got on top, and then they were forced to play conventional offense and run the ball and do some things, and they weren't able to do it, Joe.
64,575 paid to see this one or came into this dome. Dick Vermeil all smiles on the sideline, and he will now set his sights on the 49ers.
Vermeil all happy talking to Wayne Gandy there. Now, Wayne Gandy, you know, when Pace came in the game, we didn't tell you, but Gandy had to go over and play right tackle. And he's never played there, and he's not used to it. But he's doing it for the sacrifice of the team. And then Vermeil's over there, you know, saying, hey, it's all going to work out for us.
Wilkins gets rid of it for St. Louis, and from about the 1-yard line, it's Gulliford. It's hit, dropped at the 20. Keith Crawford, a special teams tackle for the Rams. Coming up on the NASDAQ postgame report. The Fox Television Center in Hollywood will get you up to date on all of the out-of-town scores and highlights. All coming up on the NASDAQ postgame report. You can find out how your favorite players did on the Fox Sports ticker. Up to the minute stats. Danny Werfel back in the lineup for New Orleans. Very impressive on their last possession. Being chased, and he pushes a pass toward Troy Davis, being pressured defensively by Jeff Robinson.
Vermeil, you know, that's got to be a big load off your shoulders because now you're into the season. All the hype that surrounded everything. Look, he's over there talking to Phillips. These things are paying off. And that's what I like about him. He's a father to these guys. He's a teacher of life. I said it earlier. You know, look, you don't think they bond together? He still has relationships with his old players. John Bunning's on the team coaching. Carl Hairston, Wilbert Montgomery.
And is Troy Davis around the right side. Just short of the 30. Dick Vermeil was the first face that Lawrence Phillips saw when he got out of jail during the offseason. And I think the tone was set there that, Lawrence, we've got you. And I, meaning Dick Vermeil, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you're healthy, you're concentrating on football, and you become a good citizen. Pass interference will be called on Randall Hill as again we see another good throw from Danny Werfel.
And you're right what you're talking about, Dick. I mean, believe me, not only is he a good football coach, but throw all that out the window. He's an unbelievable human being.
Defense. Automatic
pass interference on Ryan McNeil, and that's not going to be the last time you hear that called this year. But all the rest of the team and everything else is intact. And Dick, like we were talking about, I mean, we're just a great guy. You know, so many people in today's world are they're takers. I'm going to take, whatever, you know. He's a giver. This guy's going to give you everything. He'll give you a shirt off his back. He'll give you anything he has in order to make everything work well for everybody else.
And this should be against St. Louis as Charlie Clemens.
They didn't snap the ball. I think they're going to call it on Rofe.
All right, this is our first disagreement. This is going to go against St. Louis, I say.
Neutral zone infraction, number 56, defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
No, hey, well, you know what? No, that's not a neutral zone infraction. You got to contact somebody or something. That ball wasn't snapped.
But, my man.
The offensive tackle, they should say they can draw them off sides. I mean, you're allowed to take a step. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it.
Okay. Charlie Clemens guilty. Pickup from the CFL. What a start for the Rams, and the start for the Saints, not what they thought, not only in the end result as the final throw of the day is picked off by St. Louis, and that's the way the Saints will end, but not the way Mike Ditka drew it up, with Danny Werfel ending this game. And Dick Vermeil, loved by his players in such a short time, gets the Gatorade bath here in game one, and the two head coaches will meet at midfield.
Well, all that load's off their shoulders now. All that hype of we're coming back and two old guys and all that stuff, that's gone now. Now that pressure's off and they're into the season. They've got an idea of what kind of team they have, both coaches. They can go back for Ditka and start working on making some of the corrections to make them better. And for Vermeil, we put it together.
Let's go down to the field. Pete Peterson of Fox stands by with a winning head coach.
Well, Dick Vermeil, a very happy shower. I know it must have been a heck of a halftime speech. You guys came out and really dominated the second half.
I really felt that we had taken their best shots in their first half, and I felt that we would be strong in the second half. And what I think they did a great job in that first quarter of getting our fans out of it, and then we get going, and then they get our fans out of it again with that kickoff return. So you really have to salute Mike Ditka and his team. They did a real good job of controlling the crowd. Then Ernie Conwell comes up with a big pass and runs it on in, and from then on our guys gained momentum and played with pretty good concentration, and we won the football game.
Preseason, you were disappointed in your running game. I think today you've established it. You got to be happy with Lawrence Phillips. We saw you on the sidelines giving him quite a pep talk.
Well, Lawrence and I have gone through a lot of things together, believe me, behind closed doors and in jail cells and every other damn thing. And he belongs doing what he did today. He is that kind of football player, and he's a great kid. And I think this is just a start for him.
And what about you personally? I know you're sitting here with the Gatorade all over you. It's got to be very, very satisfying.
Well, I'm pleased for my coaching staff, and I'm pleased because they do all the work. And I'm pleased for my players because we have worked extremely hard, and we felt we would be a strong second-half football team, and today we demonstrated we were. And hey, the Saints are a good football team, and they had some things go poorly for them, and we were able to capitalize on it.
Congratulations. Enjoy the victory.
Thank you. I will.
All right, Joe Buck, Dick Vermeil, obviously very happy and ready to dry off in the locker room.
All right, Pete Peterson. Thank you, Pete. Congratulations to Dick Vermeil. The final score here in St. Louis, 38-24, the Rams over the Saints. Coming up, the NASDAQ postgame report from our Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
On the NASDAQ postgame report, and let's keep going right now around the league. And once again, yes, indeed, the Rams, an impressive game against the Saints, 38-24. Vermeil and Ditka facing each other.
Good first half. Excellent football game with the Saints were ahead. But then Gulliford, after a Terrence Small touchdown reception, takes his kickoff, 102 yards touchdown as the Saints go up. Now back. Banks out, scrambled, finds Ernie Conwell. Excellent job by Banks. Going to run, looks back to the right. Conwell, this 46-yard touchdown reception and run after catch. One of the best you'll ever see. St. Louis 21-17. And then Lawrence Phillips, 26 rushes, 125 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the day. His biggest day as a rookie. Takes it all the way in as the Rams take care of the visiting Saints, 38-24.
And Lawrence Phillips, 125 yards on a day. Very impressive. Bobby Ross. Yes, he's got the Lions playing against Dan Reeves and the Falcons. Good game.
Play action. Holds the linebackers down deep down the sideline. Mitchell Lamore manned up. Great catch. Out leaps. Out jumps the defender. 43-yard touchdown reception. Lions up by 4, 7-3. Then Chandler back. 24-yard strike to Michael Haynes. We got a 10-7 Falcon lead. Now Chandler mishandles the snap. Stephen Boyd scoops it up. He rumbles 42 yards. Everybody in pursuit, exhausted, and as he has a right to be. 14-10 the Lions. Pickens down the middle, down the sideline, touchdown. Herman Moore in the corner of the end zone. Mitchell firing him up, getting him ready to go. Then Chandler back.
Intercepted. Talk about alert defense.
38 yards from Brown down the sideline. Reggie Brown, there it is, 38-yard interception return. 28-17. This game getting out of hand now. Lions over the Falcons.
And 2 minutes remaining in that contest. Denny Green ready to square off in Buffalo with his Vikes.
Got to be happy. Todd Collins with the way his Vikings were playing. Collins back, 19-yarder to Jay Ramersa. 7-3, close enough for me. I got to talk fast, JB. Johnson in the corner to Carter. Touchdown. 10-7 Vikings over the Bills. Then Robert Smith will go up the middle, breaks back to the outside. This covers 78 yards, the longest run from the line of scrimmage for Robert Smith coming back off a knee injury. 20-10 Vikings over the Bills. And then Jeff Brady scoops up this Collins fumble, and he runs 30 yards for the score. Minnesota 27-10. Big day today for Collins. Big day today for Johnson. Bigger day for Robert Smith. Vikings on the road, 34-13 over the Bills.
Kent Graham checking over the plays. Will it help? We'll find out.
Well, it helps right here. Leland McElroy over the left side. Good kick out block by Centers. Larry Centers, the fullback, as the Cardinals go up 7-0. And then Graham finds Frank Sanders. Nice gain down to the Cincy 2-yard line. They would score later on the Cedric Smith 2-yard run. Then Jeff Blake, he connects with Carl Pickens for a 6-yard touchdown. Arizona 21. Bengals 24, and there's your final as the Bengals come back to take care of the Cardinals.
Jeff Blake, 24-35, 251 yards. And Bruce Consolidate, I know you've been singing Blake's praises all year. This guy, you say, is sensational, Ronnie.
Yeah, I like Consolidate as well as I like Jeff Blake. And when you look at this football team, they remind me of the fast break of the Los Angeles Lakers, and they are able to move that offense. They were able to come back from a 21 deficit and win this football game. So you got to look at this football team, know that they can score points, but their defense needs to step up and play better.
Yeah, tough. 4 sacks for Arizona, 8 for 16 on third down conversions. But Blake struggled early. He hangs in there. He hangs in the sign of a mature quarterback. Maybe Jeff Blake is coming of age.
Yeah, this is not a game that you can say, wow, Cincinnati, which is a team I think the AFC Central along with Houston would be right at the top, but they did not look good today, and Arizona has looked horrible all preseason game. But today, the key point, they came from behind, down 3 touchdowns to win this game at home.
No need to come from behind for the New England Patriots with Pete Carroll at the helm. A big game today. We'll show you how Drew Bledsoe is picked right up where he left off. Impressive. How impressive? We'll show you when we come back, continuing with the NASDAQ postgame report. Truly, James Brown, let's kick you around the league. And kicking is exactly what the Cowboys did. 37-7 spanking the Steelers in Pittsburgh. The Giants out-sacked Philadelphia 9-2. Giants win it 31-17. Happy birthday, Jim Fossil. St. Louis and New Orleans, wild game, finally won by the Rams. Big day by Lawrence Phillips, 125 yards on the ground. Lions, a final comeback and win it in a seesaw battle against the Falcons. Yes, indeed, Bobby Ross, first victory as the head man of the Lions. Bills lose to the Vikings 34-13. Brad Johnson, good day. Robert Smith, good day. Chris Carter, that accounts for the victory. Cincinnati trailed 21-3, came back to beat the Cardinals 24-21. Cardinals have never beaten Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Miami.
Jimmy Johnson hoping to get the Dolphins off on their winning way. Looking up at the scoreboard, looking up at the sky. Marino out in the flat. Elijah Alexander picks it off, goes 44 yards for a Colt touchdown. Earlier in the year, Johnson quoted as saying he would bench Marino, did not make Dan Marino very happy. Now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sweeping right, cutting to the outside. 9-yard touchdown run, 13 rushes on the day, 50 yards. Dolphins take care of the Colts 16-10.
16-10 indeed. On the sidelines.
Pete Carroll looking good, being happy. Got him a Super Bowl football team. Got a great quarterback in Bledsoe. Who does it go through? Shee down the right sideline. Terry Glenn, 39-yard touchdown. Well, not touchdown, but out of bounds. Now back comes Bledsoe. He finds Coates in the end zone. 4-yard touchdown. New England now goes up 7-0. Bledsoe again dumps this one off. Sam Gash out as he goes abounds into the end zone from 12 yards out. New England in a romp, 24-0. Then off scramble following a fumble. You'll see Stanley suffers a dislocated shoulder. Another injury. At this point, though, it's 34-7. Goes on to become 41-7. New England looks awesome in their first game.
And it was a good game in Tennessee. Game winner coming up, Terry.
Del Grego, 33-yard field goal. There you have it. Tennessee. Hard to say Tennessee, but there it is, 24-21. Let it go, Howie.
And a game that's being played right now. Steve Young, TB.
Has to leave the game. Hardy Nickerson's knee catches him in the head. There it is right there. Young off to the sideline for observations. And right now, folks, we can't give you any more details than that, but we'll keep you posted.
And no score in that contest. That game being played in Tampa. It was the Buccaneers and Niners early on. Games taking place right now. Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs. Big matchup at Mile High. Broncos lead it by a field goal there. Ravens and Jaguars. Boy, the Jaguars without Mark Brunell in the preseason look awfully impressive right now, leading the Ravens by a touchdown. That game in Baltimore. And the New York Jets, new man Bill Parcells of Tuna, has his team over top of the Seahawks 10-0. And of course, the Jets had an undefeated preseason. I guess there's an awful lot of excitement in New York with Parcells at the helm.
Yeah, and also, you know, the big game for us, obviously, is Dallas-Pittsburgh. The bully is back. That's all I have to say. The bully is back. Buckle it up, boys, because they're bringing it.
No doubt about it. Hey, fellas, it's been a wonderful opening Sunday with you guys. For Ronnie Lott, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw.
I'll be back next week.
Loved your State of the Show address early, complimenting Howie. Hey, folks, we thank you very much. We'll see you next week on Fox NFL Sunday.